What is going on, everybody? How in the heck are you? I just put a poll up. Check that out. Rank the state of play before we even get into it, before we can sway your opinions. Let me know exactly what you think on that poll. I am guessing it's going to be somewhere in the top 2. I'm honestly going to say that y'all are going to put it at probably in the 9-10 slot. I really believe that. I think that they had us. They had us from the very beginning. We were excited. We were happy about it. Also, if you see on the screen right now, you will see that I've kind of updated the playground members, the sleeve monkeys. I have updated that graphic. I felt like y'all needed something cooler than just a blank static landing page, so I went ahead and gave y'all a graphic there. Absolutely, thank y'all so much. These are folks who are here every single week, it seems. These are people who we see in the chat, who are in the Discord. These are folks who talk all the time. They interact. Super appreciative of that. It's one of the easiest ways to get a membership is to click the join button or just subscribe. We have a few people on here who are very generous with their gifting, and so if you're just subscribed, you have a good chance. If you want to help the channel out for free, you can hit the like button. You can subscribe. Absolutely share this thing out. And I want to shout out to y'all because I had asked several of y'all after last show to go and put a comment and kind of leave that comment out there. Heck, man, y'all did such a good job with that. Y'all pushed the video. We got a ton of subscribers off of the last 2 videos because y'all engaged with it after the content. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. I can't say that enough. It truly helps. With that, let's shout out some people who are already in the chat. Hero Down Under, Lone Gamer 88, Josh Ayers, he's on the panel. Conquer 218, Hero, or I already said Hero JC 2013. We got Lunchy Sky. What's up, brother? Hey, you said you'd be here, now you're here. Twisted Sin, Brian East. Let's see, who else we got? Byron Cutler and Toolman 55. As more people come in, really excited to be able to talk to y'all tonight. We have a ton, and I mean a ton of gaming news to go over. The State of Play dropped today, finally, for the first time in 3 weeks. I do not have to do like a makeup show, or I'm not 6 days behind schedule. Like, I am actually here day 1. Super thankful that that happened. And with that, speaking of being thankful, we have some awesome guests tonight, which, let's be honest, most of the time y'all come here to hear them, not me. And so with that, let me hop over here and get these 2 in here. Let me see. Josh has not messaged me yet. He might still be busy. Hang on, let me see.
No, I'm here.
Okay, cool, sweet. All right, so Josh, returning member of the Playground, how
Yes, my contract is not up yet.
Your contract is not up yet, but before we get a returning member, all the way from the streets of the gaming grindhouse, we have the man, the myth, the redhead hater himself, Frogs. Frogs, how are you doing, sir?
Hey man, I'm doing amazing. I appreciate the invite. I'm just really here to talk some gaming and have some fun.
Heck yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Dude, no, I appreciate you, dude. We stayed after Jez's show and probably talked for 20-30 minutes, and that was pretty cool. So really happy to hear your thoughts tonight. Thank you for coming on.
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be really good. What are you... So this is your first time on, and I haven't had to ask these questions much lately because I've had a lot of returning guests. So one of the things that I like to do is a tradition that Salty had, and hey Josh, we are hearing that a lot.
Sorry.
That's fine. One of the things that Salty used to do on his show was whenever somebody new came on, he would ask, hey, what kind of got you into gaming? Like, what was there a game that just like for me it was Final Fantasy VII. That's when I became a gamer, right? Like, that's the thing that did it for me. Played games up to that point, but that's kind of where it solidified. That's why I still to this day gargle on anything that Square Enix gives, because I have an immense amount of hopium and copium for that company. But like for you, how long have you been gaming? Where'd you start at? And kind of when did it turn from like, hey, cool, I play Bad Dudes or Ninja Turtles on the weekend to I'm in it to win it for life? Like, what happened?
It's probably, I mean, I started on an old Atari. I didn't have an Atari, but I used to go to my cousin's house and they had an Atari, and my cousin, we sit there and we just play Atari. But it really solidified me gaming was Nintendo, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, old school NES. That's what really turned me into a gamer. I think that Super Mario Brothers 3 is probably like one of the greatest games ever made, outside
Correct.
of Super Mario World for the Super NES. So those are like, I would say my probably my when you're talking about like games that I can look at and I can always go back to and I can always play. It's always going to be Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers 3, and A Link to the Past. I think those are some of the best games ever made for their time. And I would say Nintendo really kind of created a path for me. And then I really think the real turning point for me to really know I was I was really in it to win it was I would probably say the PlayStation 2 GameCube Xbox era, because that was the first time I had really like owned all three consoles because I had something to offer me different. And I was like, wait, why am I buying all three? You know, because the generation before that, I was like, mostly like N64 and a little bit of PlayStation 1, but I was really in it. Like that Xbox PS2 generation, I was really there. And I think that solidified me, because I think coming from that 2D landscape, going into 3D, CDs and all that, coming from cartridge to CDs, that solidified me being a gamer. And I just kind of continued that trend. And I can't say I've been totally agnostic to one platform. I kind of, I started with Nintendo, stuck with Nintendo, went to PlayStation, dipped my toe in Xbox, as Xbox Live was really amazing. Stuck it out with the 360, went through 10 Red Rings of Death, went to PlayStation 3, and just never looked back.
10.
Yeah. And I can honestly tell you, like, I today I am, if my friends that knew me from the past could reach out, they would say, this guy, man, he only played the JRPGs on PlayStation. Outside of that, this guy only played Xbox Live Online and like the Mario games in it. But I just became a diehard PlayStation guy. Realistically, when I saw Uncharted 1 on PS3, I had never seen any game that looked that good. And I was like, oh crap. And I had, Microsoft's Red Ring of Death situation just basically solidified me in being a kind of like a more PlayStation gamer as far as owning that hardware, because it didn't break. So that's kind of where I am today. I own all the systems. I've had all the systems. I just kind of aligned more with Nintendo and PlayStation's kind of like their path in gaming and their software, as far as like I would say lately. But that's basically it. I've been there since the beginning.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I started on Nintendo. Actually, technically, I started on arcade because I used to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Bad Dudes at the arcades. Uh, got my butt whooped for stealing $40 from my parents at like the age of 6, and my 11-year-old brother and I went down to a place in Oklahoma called the Eagle's Nest, right next to the Tinker Air Force Base there where I was born, and we went there, and I kid you not, we blew all $40 on do you remember Bazooka Joe bubblegum? It had the little comic strips wrapped around the bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that gum was hard. You could break a filling.
It was so terrible. You had to suck on the gum. Pause, because I know how this is going to sound. You had to suck on the gum for it to get a little soft before you could actually chew it. Like, it was so bad.
Yep,
And it tasted like the wrapper. It was so terrible. But man, we spent $40 on nothing but arcades, and my dad and mom were livid because obviously we ran out of the house on a Saturday and didn't tell them. And so they thought we were gone. We had spent 4 hours at this daggum gas station playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Bad Dudes on the arcade. And then we proceeded to get our butts whooped for like what felt like an eternity. Like I still, that was rough. But yeah, Josh, Frogs, appreciate you coming on the show. I was looking at Josh's name because he is the next one to reintroduce. I'm breaking my rules this month, and if y'all noticed, it's really only the Aussies that can make me do this. Wara did it 2 weeks in a row. Josh is doing it 2 weeks in a row, and the next 2 weeks we have Falky on. So like, it's
just rotating through all of us.
It's I mean, nobody in America likes me that much, I guess. Like, it's just...
Oh, jeez. Harsh.
Oh, he wrote down under, said he started on arcade, then Famicom. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Twisted said you started on Genesis. Dude! Okay, so they made their controller too different, if that makes sense. I didn't like going from the Super Nintendo that had the beautiful little, like, essentially what we're used to, with the 2 buttons on one side, 2 buttons on the other. Now we kind of know them as, like, that little square, that little, diamond shape. And they just
because I'm clear, because I can't remember. The SNES in the US is the same as the PAL one, except for the console. Like, the controller is the same, right?
Bro, I don't know. It has
yeah, because the console themselves are different.
Yes.
The US one was purple, like the light purple and lavender, and then the other one was like blue, yellow, green, and red.
Yeah.
It was
it's
colors. Yeah,
it's just
basically
the console.
same,
it's not the controller, if I remember right. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, just the console, not the controller.
Yeah, but
because I was like, I remember the Genesis controller being pretty similar.
No,
maybe I'm losing my mind.
No, the Genesis had 3 buttons.
Yeah, it had 6, didn't it? Like 6 on the right.
I don't think
instead of 4?
Original Genesis did.
The original was 3, and then they came out with 6 with the mode button on top.
Yeah, that might be what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they're not that
different. 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, the original was the 3, and then they came out with like Frogs just said. Then they came out with the 6.
Because I had the 6 one, and that's what I think of when I think of Genesis. So maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it was. No, I think of the big bulky controller that had 3 buttons on it.
Yeah, I know it.
It was A, B, and C, and that was it. And I was like, man, this sucks. But who knew? I'd still be a controller snob this late in the game. Like, I still can't play an Xbox. I hate offset controllers. They drive me nuts.
It's so wild that the PS1 didn't launch with the thumbsticks. And everyone thinks that it just default with the thumbsticks. It's so wild that the PS1 didn't have that at launch.
Oh, goodness,
no. It came like 2 years later or whatever.
Yeah, it was part of their,
Yeah, when Ape Escape came out, yeah.
Ape Escape was the game that made it popular. Yeah, I remember that.
And Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut as well.
Oh, yes, I remember that too. Great game.
Hell yeah.
Great game for the time.
Josh was saying in the Discord earlier that it's still the best one out of all of them.
No, Resident Evil 1 Remake is the best Resident Evil game.
My bad. I misunderstood you.
Yes.
But, so...
even with all the other remakes, it is still Resident Evil 1 Remake is the best Resident Evil game.
I'm excited if they remake 5. I actually thoroughly enjoyed 5.
I like 5. I have no problem with it.
The freaking...
I have no problem with 6 either. So
I just loved 5 because it was more of an action shooter and not more of a suspense resource management horror game.
They're different games, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's just why I liked it. I liked 5 because it was literally felt like every other run and gun third-person shooter.
Yeah, it was based off of Gears of War.
Oh, well that makes a whole lot of sense then.
Yeah, after because Gears of War is based off Resident Evil 4, and they added their own twists to it. And then 5 took so long, and it's based off Gears of War.
Interesting. So,
yeah.
Speaking of games and all these different franchises, we had a State of Play today. We will be covering that pretty in-depth. Most of the show will probably end up being the State of Play, so hope y'all are excited about it. Hope y'all are ready to talk about it. Hope you're ready to have discussion on it. That goes for the panel and the folks in the chat. Also, we are at, and I just noticed this, or I would have announced it in the very beginning, we are at 699.
Damn!
I swear for goodness, there is one of y'all listening right now that ain't subscribed. Actually, there's about 47%
let's get to 700 live. Why not?
I'm about to say, there's about 47% of y'all that ain't subscribed. Somebody go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Just hook a brother up and just knock it out. Just come on. But while y'all are trying to find where the subscribe button is, let me go over the topics for tonight, because we do have some pretty spicy ones if we get to them. Bobby Kotick did an interview. I didn't catch the interview, but holy crap, one of the headlines is that Bobby Kotick, even he knew that Game Pass is trash. But basically, from the way it sounds like, or the way that I heard it worded, was basically, I don't think it's good, but it's going to be your problem now, not mine. Which, hey, whatever. Dude got a check, and he is gone. Also, loot boxes. Hey, those are back now. And they're in Overwatch 2. That's an Activision Blizzard company. There's no correlation to Microsoft bleeding money and loot boxes coming back at all. And so we will talk about how there is no correlation at all. Also, PlayStation had an outage for like 12 hours. And it
20.
has... Whatever, who cares? And it has PlayStation gamers wanting to leave the console. It has them wanting to pack their shit and go home. Now, they say that, and then the State of Play came out, and I guarantee you they've changed their mind. Hell, they changed their mind halfway through realizing that their only other options are Xbox or PC or the Switch. At that point, Sony kind of has you by the nuts, so you might as well just go ahead and shut up and play. That doesn't mean we're not going to talk about how crappy the outage was, because that is pretty shitty. But also, we will be pointing out and placing blame solely where those things land. And guess what? That's not at the foot of the company. I don't give a damn if it's Microsoft, Google, Steam, PlayStation. Doesn't matter. Hell, the company I work for was the victim of an attack, 3 months ago. Shut down all of it. Did I get pissed off at my job for not having all the security protocols and everything? Because no. We have all of that crap. Hell, we have 3 guys whose only job is to make sure our shit doesn't crash. That's it. That's their whole job. That's all they do. We have our own little tech department. And like, these guys are certified, licensed, good at what they do, and could probably get to places that I didn't even know existed on the internet. But we didn't blame them. No, we blamed the dipshits who hacked our system. So, anyways, we'll be talking about where we place blame on that one in just a reality sense. And then we will be talking, obviously, about the state of play. And then I do have something in here just to crap on insiders just a little bit. Insiders, the people who 8 hours before the showcase, or before the state of play, said that GTA 6 would be at the reveal, or would reveal their second trailer. Like, those dipsticks. Yeah, that's why GTA 6 was in the title. That is why GTA 6 is on the board tonight. And I was either going to turn it into, hey, we're going to talk about it because it was there, or, hey, we're going to talk about it because people are idiots. And, hey, we get to do the latter. So, let's go ahead and dive in. Also, how do I minimize this stupid thing? All right, sorry. My computer is fighting me, which is about normal. Okay, Gaming Grindhouse. Hey, thanks, Jez. Yo, Thrifty, Josh, and Frogs, Fire Show. Hell yeah, man. I didn't listen to any of them. Nah, that's just an over... Yeah, Zero, it is. It is. I promise. It's a huge over-exaggeration. It's clout chasing at its best. Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. It's clout chasing at its worst. It's
engagement farming at its best.
Yeah, engagement farm. I was going to say that, or disingenuine at its best. Like, maybe there's no
it's because anything with GTA is going to get clicks, regardless of if it's true or not.
No. I was talking about leaving the. I was talking about leaving PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that too.
Like, that's either clout farming, or it is just
both.
Being disingenuous.
They're both exactly the fucking same.
Is too long for a Resident Evil becomes too repetitive. It was a good state of play. People need to stop overhype. Dude, Goku! Absolutely. Also, for the love of God, we need to figure out how to get Goku 1973 a badge. Hey!
18 to 20 hours is not too long for a Resident Evil. You need to get better at playing that damn game and get it down to 10. Then you get it down to 6. Then you get it down to 3. That's how Resident Evil games work.
Well, can't you just like beeline it through most of them?
Yeah and no. Like the whole trick to Resident Evil is speedrunning. Like that's what they want you to do. In every Resident Evil game, you get rewards for beating it faster. Like if you can beat the first Resident Evil under 5 hours, you get an infinite rocket launcher. Every Resident Evil game has had things tied to how quickly you beat the game.
All right,
so they want you to be fast.
All right, so here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and just dive straight in. Typically, I make y'all wait because I want more people here to discuss the big thing. But because Dizzy's in the chat, and Dizzy is sitting there saying that it was a good third-party show and they only showed 2 exclusive, we are going to go ahead and discuss the show. Anything...
Did they show 2 exclusives?
I know they showed 1.
I think I can name 3.
Is Hellas Us exclusive?
I don't think so. There was one that was really early on that I'm pretty sure was exclusive. And it was a third-party game.
I don't know, because the ones that interest me that I pulled up were Mind's
I'll look
Eye,
into it.
And it's third-party. Shinobi is
Yeah, no, I'll look into it. There was one, I think it was Shinobi.
Shinobi's third
Shinobi
party.
or it was... No, I know that, but I don't think it was on anything but PC and PlayStation.
Oh, no. It's coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox. So here's what I did, guys. Because PlayStation is not as desperate as Xbox, so they don't put any other competitor on their
Oh, no, I know that.
Stuff.
No, that's fine. There was... Because when everyone was sharing out the, like, oh, it's also on Xbox, there was one that I remember seeing that I was like, this one isn't on there. I can't remember what it was, though.
So I do know for fact that we had everything at this show. We had third party, we had second party, and we had full first party. So like we had everything. Frogs, I'm gonna kick it over to you first. You get first take.
Sure.
You're the guest. What did you think about the showcase or about the state of play?
I thought it was a pretty decent showing of I think they were close to 20 plus games. I want to say 20, maybe less, but it was a decent showing. There were a lot of, as people say, there were a lot of games that were going to probably be multiplayer third party, but I went into, after the state of play, I went into the store and I wish list some of the games that I saw, and I know we'll get into each game one by one. I'll tell you how I think about it, but overall, I think the show was decent. I would say it was between a solid B, maybe C plus. For me, just for me personally, I think that I understand that when it comes to first part, because I had to look at it in the eyes of, okay, I want more first party, but I had to also understand that these first party titles take a lot of time to make, and that's A. And then B, I had to look and say, we've kind of gotten away from, I would say, probably PS4, maybe the PS5 generation, away from maybe that AA, that B tier game. And I think that some of these games could have been like some semi AA B tier games, and I think we need more of that. The only thing that I saw the state of play that I thought was really odd, and I thought it was odd because as I was going through, I was wishlisting stuff, was the Omnimusha 2. The Omnimusha 2 was when I went in the store, because I had the first one, I beat it, but when I went in the store, it just was just a PS4 game. It wasn't like PS4, PS5, it was just PS4, which I still kind of, I get why they're releasing PS4 games still. They have a huge install base there. The PS5 is selling, but I totally get why they're still releasing PS4 games. You have to kind of feed, the monster that you created. You can't just leave that monster there. Even though to me, it sounds great to, hey, just go all in on PS5. With 70 million PS5 sold, and what, 100 and I think something, 100 and something million, 107, 10, whatever million PS4. I can understand why they're still right. I can still understand why they're still like, hey, put this on PS4 and PS5. I don't really think it hurts the gamer who wants to invest in PlayStation 5, because if they have a PS5 version, you typically get the PS4 version if there's both. But I think, and then also for me, the other weird thing, and these are the two big things that stood out to me: Omnimusha 2 being a PS4 game only, and then the other thing was and I know we're going to talk about this one probably deeply. Days Gone remastered. I platinumed Days Gone. I did not expect it to be remastered and do a $10 upgrade. I'll probably get it because I did like the game. I platinumed it. I put a lot of hours into it, but I didn't.
You may not have to.
That. Trophies might just pop because
No.
They'll probably give me a save.
I mean, there's stuff right now that it might be in PS Plus, like day one.
Oh, interesting.
On this, I've seen pictures on Twitter on the store in America because it's not here. It says it's in PS Plus.
Interesting. So I may not have to, but I just thought that was kind of weird when they were like Days Gone remastered. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, who asked for this? And, I think it's a great game, but I would have rather them really focus their resources on a sequel or something else. So to do a remaster, I know it doesn't take a lot, not as much as creating a whole new game from the ground up. But for the most part, I thought the state of play was pretty solid. Pretty solid showing it. It's kind of like a future of just gaming to come. Not necessarily now. I mean, there were a couple of games. Like I said, once you go by the list, I'll tell you what I think about each game individually. But I think it was a decent show. I think it was decent.
So funny enough, I was surprised about Days Gone as well. But as soon as it dropped, it actually kind of made total sense because they just canceled a big project.
I was about to say.
And so now
everyone who got on the bloody Ben's going to take forever to put out a game. Where are you eating crow now?
Right. And
never thought about it like that.
Yep.
Ben had 4 projects apparently in the works, and they cancelled one. This would be another one. So who knows how far along the other ones are? But
I mean, that's kind of where. That's I was super surprised. I was like, why in the heck are they doing this? They said they were never touching, or they weren't going to touch that IP again. Blah, blah, blah. They've been pushing it for a couple years now, trying to get Sony to say yes, green light it, and nothing. And all of a sudden, they cancel it, and we hear from Shuhei's interviews that these remasters are what helped fund other projects.
Yeah.
And keep the studios kind of afloat.
Well, Ben's also been helping with other stuff. Ben helped on The Last of Us remaster as well. Last of Us 2, they were doing costumes in that. And Ben's been all over the shop helping the other teams. So having them do their own remasters makes sense.
Interesting.
See, I did not. I knew that, but I didn't think that they were still helping everybody.
They might still be, but as I said, because they're on the new IP, if I remember right. Yeah, they were on the new IP that they were doing. The whole thing with that getting cancelled and people freaked out is we don't know how far along it was. Because people are like, oh, it got cancelled. It got cancelled on playtest. There are 2 playtests Sony does every year. Every 6 months. Did it go to one, pass, and then go to the next and fail? We don't know. Or was this their first one that they failed? This could have been 6 months, a year worth of work. Not even that. Because we know that the time to get operational on the PS5 is less than a month. So they can get something started within a month.
I'm sorry, the time to get what on the PS5 is a month?
To get, time to triangle, which is to get stuff working, is less than a month. Sony said all this before.
That's interesting.
You didn't know that?
Hell no, that's amazing, actually.
That's Sony talked about it on the road to PS5 in 2020, that they got learning for PS5 down to about a month to get up and running.
That's freaking sick.
That doesn't count your story and all that stuff. That's going to take longer, obviously, but to get stuff going and working, it takes about a month.
I mean, still, that's crazy. But so the game that I want to talk about, Josh. Anyways, I'm going to let you go, and then I'm just going to riff off of you because I'm pretty sure you're going to hit the one that I'm going to hit.
Overall, it was pretty good. I was getting a little bored. I did, while Frogs was talking, I thought about the Onimusha thing on PS4, but it's Capcom, so there's a very obvious reason why it is on PS4, and that is because it's not on Xbox. Because Capcom no longer do Xbox One games, unless they have to. So I don't know if that's going to be on Xbox, we'll have to see.
It is coming to Switch, which also makes sense.
Oh no, I know that.
Why...
That's fine. But that's what I'm saying. Like in 2021, Capcom called Xbox One non-viable, so they don't do Xbox One games. So that's why Resident Evil 4 was on PS4 and not Xbox One, and that's why all those fighting games were not on Xbox because they were on PS4. And
non-viable.
Not on PS5.
That means
that's their quote.
That's what that means.
The actual words in their report were non-viable.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, like if it being on PS4, that will probably be exclusive unless there's a huge outcry, which there may be. I haven't seen anything about it, but that would be because that's not going to be on Xbox because they don't do Xbox One unless they have to.
That's crazy.
Which
that's nuts.
I don't know. Yeah.
So what kind of stood out to you during the show?
For me, Days Gone stood out to me. I don't know why. Just maybe I'm even feeling like playing Days Gone. Like, I don't know. Just Days Gone did stand out to me. It was a little weird. I didn't think they would do that. That was the one I was like, no, they're not going to do that because they're done with that. The new stuff, the Housemarque game looks pretty good. What is it? Trials of whatever. It ended really strong. I'm blown away how well it ended.
Trials of Annihilation, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. Trials of Annihilation.
It looks freaking sick.
That looks really cool.
It honestly looks like a steampunk version of Stellar Blade, which I'm here for.
Yeah, and then obviously Lost Soul Aside. I've been excited about that for a long time. It finally getting a date and it being real soon is really cool. I'm trying to think. Shinobi. Wow. What a crazy thing to come back. I haven't played Shinobi since the PSP. Like, I'll check that one out. It makes you think of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. That's also coming out later this year. And that they're just doing these weird 2D games.
Yeah, like, it looks clean, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing that I loved about it, is that it looked... When I was watching it, I was like, is it? No. Ninja Gaiden?
I don't know if it's a new... I don't know if it's like in the same story as Shinobi. I don't know, but yeah, I played Shinobi on PSP. That's the last one I played, and that was really fun.
Holy crap!
So that was really cool to see that one. Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, I'm gonna be here for that, and that's gonna be amazing. I suck at those games. I'm about as bad as those as I am. Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, I love those type of games.
I enjoy Ninja Gaiden. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely do.
Maybe now that I've played a few other like side scrollers and a few other Metroidvanias, maybe I'll be a little bit better at it, but it was always the fighting for me in those games was so freaking brutal. And so
yeah.
I don't know. So mine, it is not going to be a secret at all. I have been wanting this game since I saw the first daggum trailer for it, and it is Lost Soul Aside. And
hell yeah.
When they released, when they did their trailer or whatever they did at the end of last year, everyone was like, don't get too excited. It's probably 2026. We know how this is going to work. And like, I was like, no, but the game looks way more polished than a year out. Like, it looked great. And
I've been meaning to go back and re-look at the first trailers because it looks way different to when I first saw that game in like 2014 or whatever it was.
Oh, I think it looks better.
I don't know if it looks better. It looks different. Like, I'm not going either way to like have a look at it, but I'm dead sure it looks totally different.
That old trailer?
Yeah, the like 2014, 2015 when they first announced it, and it was just the one guy.
Yes.
Well, shoot. You know, we have.
I'm dead sure it looks. I know. No, we haven't. I just haven't done it today because I haven't had time.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
check that one out.
I'm about to do it.
The other thing that I did notice, I'm pretty sure the main character is voiced by Johnny Yong Bosch, who's a really cool voice actor. That's what it sounds like when he talked. When he spoke at the end, that's what it sounded like to me. So that might be him. I haven't investigated that yet, though.
God, this game looks freaking amazing.
It does look cool, and it's very much. You can see the Final Fantasy Versus 13 in it.
Dude, can't you? Like,
yeah.
The whole thing feels like it's just a main character ripped out of a Final Fantasy game.
Well, it's meant to be. Like,
I thought I was the only one that felt like that. So
yeah, no.
At least I can confirm that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's meant to be. That's what it's based off. Is Versus 13.
Really?
So that's why, he built it because Versus 13 was taking so long, all that sort of stuff. You don't know much about this game, do you?
No, I've seen the trailers, got hyped, and then it disappeared for 3 years. Like,
it didn't disappear for 3 years. It disappeared for 10. So.
Well, I mean, listen, it felt like it. Last time I saw it, it was. Shoot, they had mentioned it at the State of Play, not the State of Play.
Yeah.
They had mentioned it at the showcase 2 years ago.
Yeah, they mentioned it briefly, but that's because Sony stepped in with it.
Okay.
Obviously, this is one of the exclusive ones. This will be on PC and PlayStation.
Yep.
And
And
Sony, it's China Hero.
Xbox fans in the audience, because I know some of y'all hate watch, we call that a console exclusive. I'm just trying to help people. Because Lord Jesus, if I have to explain that one more freaking time, I might lose my shit. Okay, so let's start at the top. We have a ton of shit to go through. So let's start at the top. We got Borderlands 4. Either of y'all have anything to say about this one?
I haven't been interested in Borderlands since the pre-sequel. Oh no, sorry. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I was interested, but only because of the music in the trailer, and I never got around to playing it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I with Borderlands, kind of like at the point with Borderlands, I'm kind of like, why? You know, I played through a couple of Borderlands, and I think Borderlands is really a game. If you don't have friends who are interested in it, there's no reason to really buy it. I played Borderlands. I believe I'm gonna say it was like the remastered version of it, Borderlands 1 and the Handsome Collection. I platinumed that by myself, and I was like, holy crap, it was a lot to do, and I didn't want to do it again.
Yeah, I've got the platinum in 1, and it takes forever.
That's funny.
I was just kind of like with the second Border, it just wore off, and I just think my friends aren't interested in it. I don't really know if people are really, I'm just being honest, I don't know if people are really interested in that series anymore, and I'm kind of like, why? Like do something else at this point. But, we'll see.
Take-Two needs money, so
yes.
they're going to do it.
Take-Two
Oh no,
needs
till
money.
GTA, they need money. They're I think it was $2 billion in the whole last I heard. So
yeah, they lost some money.
They need it. So this and GTA are their big gambles for the year. Obviously WWE. I think we'll get to that.
Oh man.
Oh, they're gonna make money off of that. Yeah, they're making money off of that.
Y'all think so? That looks like shite. It
does look like shit, but it's
ass.
WWE.
It does, but it's gonna make money.
Like
that game's already charting here on PSN.
Yeah,
like look at this shit.
That game's
it's
gonna make money.
So bad. It's so terrible.
Yeah,
oh no, just because it is bad to us does not mean people will not buy that game.
Yeah, exactly.
That
game's gonna sell.
I bought WWE 2K23 because they'd revamped so much from 22. They'd done all this other stuff, and it played really good. This looks like dog shit. Like
it's just this island thing that looks like dog shit. I think the actual rest of the game will probably be about the same and fine.
Can you imagine
just this island thing
walking
looks
around
stupid.
as a big? Oh my god! This looks.
There was a little part of me when they were like, "Oh, WWE,"
and I kind of see. I don't play most of the sports games except for maybe Football Club, because that's like my main thing. I like playing football.
I'm so sad. So actually, the city in the basketball games is what fully made me stop playing, because it takes
and they're doing
so
the same thing
long.
than WWE.
Get the freaking scooter or the bicycle or the skateboard to make your traversal in the city faster. You had to pay money to get that shit. Like, no.
Right.
How? No. That was literally when I was like, you know what? I am completely out, because I like doing the my players. Though that was my favorite thing. That's all I do in the sports games now is I go through the story mode, the career mode. And so like the story was integrated. You had to go visit your agent's office. You had to go get your haircut. You had to go do, and I swear to you, I said fuck it when it took me.
Anyway, just so we know, this game is not out, and it is already number 22 on PSN here. As most played games.
Listen. So
and it's not available yet, so it's going to sell.
Fortnite is also one of the most played games. And so Thrifty needs to get on the roof and adjust his reception. What?
Yeah, you were botting out really weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're botting out pretty bad, yeah.
Oh, I know what it is. It's these freaking ads. Okay, hang on. Every single website that I have open right now is running.
We'll figure it out.
We're gonna keep going for now. Let me see if it's this. Here, I can...
You sounding better now.
Oh yeah, it dropped everything ads. Ugh. I freaking hate this shit. Okay, hang on. Now I have to bring back my tab that I had. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So we will just do this one at a time. Anyways, so we got a little game here called Darwin's Paradox. It's about an octopus.
Oh no, I thought we were doing Dave the Diver.
Well, I missed one. It's Darwin's Paradox first.
Oh, okay, yep. It's alphabetical.
They're probably going to be able to tell
To
me
be
what
fair,
type
when
of
they're
octopus
like-
that is.
When they're like, it's an octopus in a food processing thing, I was like, man, octopus is delicious. So
That's pretty funny.
It isn't a food processing center.
Yeah. Your octopus is delicious.
yeah, like
I've
I
never
get it.
had it. I've never had calamari.
Ah,
It's awesome.
octopus and squid are so good.
Octopus and squid are amazing.
Yeah,
I've
I
had
get
rattlesnake.
Japanese. I get octopus balls. They're so good.
I've had
Oh,
gator.
they're delicious. Gator, good too.
Gator is
Yeah.
amazing. Rattlesnake, phenomenal.
Yeah, I've had
Rattlesnake is
rattlesnake
pretty
too.
good.
I've had
Yeah.
snake. I haven't had rattlesnake. So.
Oh, it's so good. Well,
Yeah,
down
rattlesnake's
here in the
pretty
south.
I will say crocodile. Crocodile's also really good.
Why
Yeah.
is it still jumping?
And then kangaroo's delicious as well.
Hang on. Guys in the chat, let me know if I'm still botting. I don't know.
You're not to me anymore.
Okay. I honestly have no idea what's happening. I updated the PC before this. I made sure everything was working. Hell, we even did freaking mic checks, okay? So, like, everything else is just bad buffering, Thrifty. Dizzy, same. Okay, here. I am going to cancel everything except...
We don't need to play the trailers. I think that might save you.
Yeah, that probably will. I just don't know what's going on. I've done whole streams where we've played the interviews and
Yeah,
done...
just today, I guess.
Yeah, probably. We got a lot of rain, and, you know, our stuff doesn't work properly when precipitation happens.
Damn. Oh, Dave the Diver is a really cool game, so this DLC is going to be really cool.
Yeah,
That's what I have to say as someone who plays Dave the Diver.
yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't played it, I'd recommend playing Dave the Diver. It's really good. Speaking of eating fish and food, that you
So
get
I
sushi in that
actually
game.
haven't played Dave the Diver, but
Ah, it's really good.
two folks have recommended it.
Yeah.
And now you're the third. And so, Frogs, are you a Dave the Diver fan? Are you going to be playing this Like a Dragon crossover?
Yes, I actually do like the game. I really enjoy the game. I think it's one of those games that came out and it was kind of like, what is this? And you didn't know. As soon as you start playing it, you're kind of like, this is very different and it's really unique. You've never played anything quite like it. That's why I think it grows on you. You know, it's kind of like playing what's the game I've been playing a lot of, Bellatra. I didn't really know what Bellatra was until it got nominated, and I was like, how did this card game get nominated? This is crap. And then I just went and played it. I was like, I'm gonna just go on the whim and buy it, and I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to it.
I know other people
it's
like
one of
that.
those games. Yeah. Bellatra is another game that's super addictive. If you buy it, once you start getting a bit, you like, holy crap! I can see why this got nominated for the game of the year. You really understand.
Vampire Survivor, like that.
Yep, there you go. That's another one. Yeah, just unique. Something that's not the same as everything else. And I think that's kind of cool. Like it kind of gives you something you've never really had before. So it's a good feel. It's a good feel.
The Diner Dash part of that is really cool. I like that the most. After you have to go and serve everyone. In Dave the Diver.
Oh, when you're like serving food to people and everything.
My favorite
That's
part.
pretty cool.
If I could
That's
skip
pretty
the
cool.
hunting and just do that like all the time, I'd make that'd be a fun game.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So I need to just pick that up then, like, because
It's on PS Plus. You don't have to pick it up.
Yeah, they seem to not be letting that go, and they're really diving into it. No pun intended.
The guy put a ton of time in it. I think it's a really small team who did it.
Yeah,
They-
now
like,
they're
it was
doing
at
a Like a Dragon
events for
crossover,
years.
which is pretty cool.
They did a Godzilla crossover, if I remember right.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it was a limited time thing. Like if you didn't redeem it, you didn't get it. I think it's gone now.
So I have done a few things, and it is dropping my lag quite a bit now. And so hopefully that'll fix it. Don't really know what's going on and why it's acting up. It does it every couple months, it seems. But every time I run test, guess what? It says everything's fine. So
Of course.
of course, we're gonna go with everything being fine. All right. So we talked about Days Gone earlier. Do
I'll
y'all
get
want
to that
to?
again. I will. I won't have this game early, unlike the last one. So
Okay. Frogs, are you playing this?
Yeah.
I'm probably not touching it.
Days Gone, I'll probably, I got the platinum. It's only a $10 upgrade, so any game that's come and it's been a $10 update, I've purchased. So
same.
there'll be no reason for me not to buy it. $10. Why not? I got the platinum, so apparently, in my mind, I really enjoyed it. I wish they had a sequel. I was looking forward to something because of the way the story kind of ended. I was like, oh, it's gonna be great. It really it set itself up for a sequel, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'll mess around with it. We'll see what happens, and then it's $10. What can you $10 is not a lot for a game, especially the fact that you're getting some cool stuff. But more than likely, I feel like it's gonna be like most of your games that you upgrade for $10. They'll say, hey, transfer your PS4 save and it'll pop all the trophies, and I'll mess around with it for a little bit. And I'll try to see what's going on, see what's different, do a little bit of horde mode, and then, by then, maybe something else has come out that I kind of want to tap into. But I'm definitely going to get it. It's $10. Why not?
If that horde mode is anything like No Return from Last of Us 2, like, you're set for a good time.
Yes. Oh, yes. Because that game, I can tell you, a lot of people who didn't play it, Days Gone had there were a lot of good qualities about that game. It just came out at a very unique time, and I think it came out at the time that, realistically, in my opinion, like, it came out to a lot of different things. Developers, reviewers were playing it before it got patched, so they're crapping on the game. And then the game came out and it gets patched and it's good. And there were a lot of things. And then I'm like, for it to sell as many copies as it did, it tells you it obviously people liked it.
It didn't sell well. That was the big deal. Is it took forever to become profitable for Sony.
Exactly. It took forever, but it in the end it sold very well.
In the end, it made it. But it did take way longer than it should have.
You're good. I played the initial. I'm trying to make sure this thing doesn't crash, but according to this, everything is perfect now. So, anyways, I didn't play. I played like 4 hours of the first one. I got the bike.
Oh my god, you're way off.
No, listen, that game can eat it.
That game is long.
Yeah, no.
You got to put some time in it.
No, I have a theory. Any game that I have to put more than 5 hours in to start enjoying the game is a game I'm not touching.
Oh, no. Like, just the story in general is far too long.
Oh.
Like, they need to trim down that story. That story...
That's...
Oh, this is your escapism thing. Yeah.
It is. It really is. I know you don't understand that, and that's... Or I know you understand it, but I know that that's not why you play games. That is why I play games. That's why I'm playing Final Fantasy VI right now. Do you know my favorite part about the game so far? It's... Well, that's not the story. I have never hated a pixelated character more than I hate Kefka, and I cannot wait to whoop his actual ass. I literally am just going to whop him upside the head. Anyways,
that's hilarious.
To the best Final Fantasy song as well.
Dude! Okay, so I just got past the point in the story where it actually has a full-on, like, audio opera track.
I was going to say, you got to the opera, didn't you?
With vocals and everything, and I shit you not. That sounded fantastic. And just the amount of tech like a full freaking song with vocals and everything on a Super Nintendo, that's nutty. Now, I know that it came out towards the end of the life cycle and all that, and so they were very well versed in how to use it, but still...
Isn't it weird that the first voiced Final Fantasy character is Kefka?
That's extremely weird.
Because you hear him laugh.
Oh, you're right. Oh, dude, oh my gosh. I've gotten all my espers. I have taken. So what I love about it the most, to get back to the topic at hand, what I love about it the most is there are the ×4, the ×3, the speed ups,
Yeah, they're on all the
this and
remake
that,
things. Yeah.
and
Yep.
I love that because right now I'm in a position where I am properly leveled. I am now leveling up each character with their espers equipped in order to get all the things. I still don't have access to my other back in Nashi or Neshi, not Nashi.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so like that type of
Are
stuff.
you gonna platinum it?
Maybe if I'm allowed to platinum it with all the stuff on it, then yes.
Yeah, you can.
Then yes, I will.
You can easily miss stuff. That's the only problem with 6.
Well, so I've already screwed up the platinum if part of it was getting all of Shadow's like dream sequences, because
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I
haven't done 6 yet. I'm up to
with
5.
that dude anymore. He leaves
Fair
at
enough.
the worst times. And stream is buffering lots again. I don't know what else to do, guys. I really don't. There's nothing on my end that should be causing this. I have nothing else running. Yeah. Here, let me try this. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of the background audio, see what that does. I don't know. None of this stuff should matter. I have a decent computer. It should be able to do anything I ask it to. So,
Anyway, back to the state of play.
continue. Yeah. Back to the state of play. So, Digimon Story Time Stranger.
I've always wanted to get into these Digimon games, but I never do. This is a whole series that's been going on for a while. The Digimon Story series.
Yeah, and there's people.
They
who
started
play.
on Vita, I think. Story Cyber Sleuth, I think, is the one on Vita.
The TV show's not even going, but the video games are. That's the thing that
Yeah.
baffles me.
Well, they're on an anniversary year this year. I think it was this year or last year. There's an anniversary year for it.
Okay.
I think it's 30 years of Digimon or something.
That's wild.
I tried Digimon previously in the past. I've just never been able to get into it.
Yeah. The story ones are supposed to be
never
really
been into
good. The story that actually they tell is supposed to be really good, but I never got into it. I think I've got one. I just don't remember which one.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of these. Now the next game, I am a fan of these style of games. I usually buy them when they're like $3 in the bargain bin, but
You talking about the Muso?
no, it's the Directive 8020.
Yeah, the what's it called? The Dark Pictures thing.
Yeah. It's the visual novels.
I'm very interested in that one.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm very interested in that one.
I
It's
really
been a
like
long time since I
Manamedon.
played a game in that style. Yeah, and so I'm interested in that one. That one got wish list. We'll see as it gets closer what I'm playing, but I'm interested. I can definitely say I'm interested.
I never got into the Dark Pictures games. I really want to because I loved Until Dawn. So it's just a blind spot.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And then we have Dreams of Another.
Yeah, from the Pixel Junk guys. Yep.
Yes. Now, at first, I thought that this was
Yeah, I don't know
like
what to think about that game.
I was like, is this like a ode to like the game Dreams or like what are they
It
doing
being
with this? 'Cause it
a
seems
VR
like
game
it.
is what's got me. It's one of the 2 VR games that were there. So I'll probably pick it up just to play in VR.
Yeah, I know Jez said he was pretty excited about a couple VR games coming.
Yeah, there's this and there's another one later. But yeah, it being a VR game, it's got my attention. I'll check it out.
And then, thankfully, I've had my kid avoid all of these, all of these things. But Five Nights at Freddy's is getting another freaking game, and this one will be on PSVR 2 as well.
Oh, was it? I
I
didn't see
haven't
this.
been able to get into that series. Yeah,
is this the
that's
VR
another
game
series
too?
I haven't been able to get into.
Yeah, it has.
I didn't realize this had
on
VR.
PS5 and PSVR 2 later this year
Oh, nice.
on June 13th.
Okay, then yeah, maybe I haven't got into it either, but I like VR, so I'll probably end up with it.
So what's crazy is when Five Nights at Freddy first came out, it was like there were little kids playing it, and
Yeah,
I'm watching this little kid at a buddy's
I know,
house
right?
play it, and I'm like, this is creepy as shit. And they're like, oh no no no, it's just Freddy. You gotta survive. You trying to collect tips and work, and I'm like, what are you freaking talking about? This is creepy. So like,
Yeah.
if
The
y'all
fact that
can't
these
tell,
are like sort of done at kids is sort of weird.
yeah, it is weird. Not as weird as the trailers keep getting for the next game, which is Hell is Us. And
Yeah, not interested.
not
Yeah,
interested?
I was,
Not
but this
interested
one,
at all.
this I was interested after the first trailer. This one, I'm like, no, yeah, give it a
Yeah,
miss.
the first trailer I was interested. After I saw this one, I was the same. I was like, nah, not interested. And maybe with
Really?
time it'll change. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe with time it'll change. But the first trailer I was kind of like intrigued, and then I saw this trailer, I was like, nah, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy because this trailer actually showed me more than just them fighting. And so I actually kind of liked it. Looks like we're going to be dealing with like some sort of time travel.
This is the Absolver devs, isn't it? If you know that game, I can't remember.
Um,
Is
The,
it?
it might
the
be.
fist fighting
Let me
game.
see.
I think it's Absolver.
Um,
Uh,
I'm sitting here as
Macon
you're
and
talking
Rogue
about them. I'm
Factory.
looking. Hell is us. Wait, it's Hell is us, right?
Yeah, Hell
Yeah,
is Us. I think it's by. It says it's
Yeah.
by Rogue Factory.
yeah. I think they do
Yeah.
Absolver.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
they do. I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Then, like, if you're into this game, I'll give you a forewarning. Absolver is hard as fuck.
Ooh,
Mm,
is it hard? Wow.
Yeah,
I beat
Absolver's
that game,
really
but it's
hard.
hard. It's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
well, s- so speaking of hard games, Lies of P is getting a DLC. It seems like
I'm yet to play it. I hear
Uh,
it's not hard though. But I play Souls every now and then. I haven't played this one, but I hear it's not hard. So I wouldn't say speaking of hard games.
so.
yeah.
I've actually
I have
heard
Lies of P.
opposite. I've heard that it is hard.
I hear if you've
Yeah.
played, because as I said, I play all the Souls games, so I'm like, yeah, whatever. But
Oh, okay.
I
So
hear this compared
frogs,
to the others, this isn't hard.
you
Yeah, I have it. And I've gotten pretty far. And I would say for a Souls game, it's how can I say? It's hard because I guess it's like, that Souls formula. It doesn't feel like to me, my in person. I've played every Souls game. I played, even the off-brand games that are Souls-like,
Hell
like
yeah!
the Lords of the Fallen and all that.
I was going to
And
say Lords of the Fallen.
I would say this game is kind of like it's better than Lords of the Fallen, but it's got a jank to it. It's like you're like this is quite not Souls. Like you can tell it's not a from software game like made. It's really not like it's a Souls game, but it's not quite Souls. So it is hard because it feels. I just feel like from the first time they came out with the demo, I've always felt like the parry system is like it's a little off, and you have to kind of retrain your brain. And like to be honest with you, like I know a lot of people like games like what's that game? Sureku. Um um it's kind of like that in a sense. So it's Souls, but it's just not quite Souls. But it's
Just,
not. It's hard. It is hard. It is hard, but it's. Oh, my dogs are going crazy. I don't know what's going on.
just
Give
because
me one second.
I don't see Warrior in the chat. Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise is the best non-From Software Souls game.
wow. If he is in the chat, he's gonna stop whatever the heck he's doing and come in
Oh,
and
I
comment
know.
right now.
Bring it on.
You. Oh, I actually did like some of the combat in Stranger of Paradise. I just
Stranger of Paradise is so good. It is the best non-From Soft Souls game. That game is so good.
I just couldn't get into it. There was so much
Oh my
stuff
God.
around that time that I just
I got
couldn't.
the platinum in like 2 days. It's so good.
Did you really? Did you just
Yeah.
not stop playing it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I love that game. I haven't done the DLC. That's the only thing I haven't done for that game. I've done none of the DLC. I really want to give it a shot, but I keep forgetting to go back to
Which
it.
game was that? I'm sorry. Which game was that? I missed it.
Stranger of Paradise, the Final
Oh
Fantasy
yeah, I
Souls
beat the
game.
crap out of that one.
That game is
I
so
beat the
good.
crap out of that game. Yeah,
All right. So
definitely different.
I love that game.
we have. I'm okay. So Hero earlier said that there are 33 games, and if we keep going through all 33, it's going to take us another 3 hours. So
Metal Gear looks amazing.
okay, cool.
I
That's
saw
what
you
I was
flick
going to
past
ask.
it.
So like we have Lost Soul aside, we have Metal Eden. Anybody
Yeah, that looked
looking?
pretty cool too.
Okay.
That looked cool. I'm just going quickly. Metal Eden looked pretty cool. That was one of the final ones they showed that looked really good.
Yeah.
Metal Gear, obviously, like Snake Eater is really good. I like Snake Eater a lot. Having the Ape Escape stuff that is exclusive, it is not on Xbox. So that mission will be only on PlayStation. But why would it not be? It's a PlayStation IP.
Mind's Eye actually looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I know it's not exclusive, but it actually looks really good. Like
It does look pretty good.
it looks fun. That's
Just
the
look
thing
at my
about Mind's
PlayStation
Eye.
list of.
I like that there are a lot of devs here we don't know. That's what I like a lot about this show.
Right.
That I will agree with. Every single time that they were talking, I was like, "Wait, who? Huh?"
We also saw oh yeah, this is the one by what are they called? Eidos. Is it Eidos?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's not Mind's Eye. Is it not Tales of Annihilation? It's
It's one of the last ones that they showed. I think it might be
it's
Mind's.
That was Tales
I
of
think it is
Annihilation,
Mind's.
wasn't it?
No, it's
is it Mind's
it's-
Eye?
yeah, I think it's Mind's Eye. It's
Yes, Mind's Eye. Yeah, Mind's Eye look interesting. Yeah.
IO Interactive publishing, so they're not making the game. It's just they're publishing it after their success with Hitman. They've got money. Good for them.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Good
yeah,
for them.
I wishlist that one.
And then we get some more DLC for Stellar Blade.
Blade.
That's really cool.
Nikki or Nakai, whatever it is. We got the PS Plus games,
Yep.
Yes.
We
which
got
they didn't have all of them there. Romance, what is it? The Saga Frontier is one of them. That I'm really looking forward to giving that a crack.
Yeah, so for the full list, we actually have Jedi Survivor, Top Spin, Lost Records, Saga Frontier Remastered, Somerville, Ten Hearts, Madup, Mordhau? Sure.
I don't know
why
that game.
not? Patapon 3, Dropship.
Patapon. Let's go
Patapon.
Patapon. Patapon's really fun. If you haven't played those games, they're good time waster. They're a PSP game, so don't expect much.
Jedi Survivor, I think, is actually a sneaky good drop in PlayStation Plus, and here's why.
They always are.
Well, here's why Jedi Survivor, I think, more than Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor...
No, I mean like all the Star Wars games go to PS Plus.
Oh, well,
at
sure.
some point.
I'm saying,
So
like, it's actually a big get. Normally, PS
Yeah.
Plus is very much like, oh, it's a game that's lived out its life cycle. Everybody's probably already played it, and if you haven't, this is in hopes to get a few more people putting their eyes on it. But with Jedi Survivor, it came out to such a shitty launch all across every platform that, like, there were a lot of folks, including myself, who played and beat Jedi Fallen Order, not once, but twice, shitty map and all, and
I did it twice.
I still yet to beat Fallen or Survivor, because
I haven't
it
even
just
started Survivor.
exactly. There's a lot of folks who heard that, oh crap, and saw that, hey, this game runs like jank. I'm not touching it, and by the time they got it all fixed, they got it fixed in time to break it again on the Pro, and now that is fixed again. Like this,
Cool.
I think there's going to be a lot of people who skipped this game because of performance issues that are now going to be able to play it as part of their subservice. And so I think that's what I mean by it's a sneaky good pick, because I do not think near as many people have already played it as played Fallen Order when it showed up in the sub.
Yeah, I agree. I think Top Spin's also another good get. They're supposed to be really good games. I don't know if the new ones are as good as the old ones, but the old ones are really good.
I don't know. And Frogs, you said you don't play a lot of sports games, but I don't know if you ever did. Sports games did this thing where they went from just a fun time where it was kind of an arcadey simulation mix to where they tried for
Right.
so much realism that it took a lot of the fun out of the game. At least
Right.
in my opinion.
Yeah. And I can be honest, I can tell you when I stopped really, really, really playing sports games, probably when EA got the rights and they were doing all the football games and then 2K couldn't make another football game, 2K5. Probably so it's been since I haven't actually purchased an actual sports game and played it since probably 2005, and that's a long time. And I don't really plan to. I don't have the interest I used to when I was younger, when there was like competition where you had Game Day, Game Breaker, you had 2K. Everybody was making a game and they're competing. So you got like a big pool of different, now it's only Madden and I can't stand Madden. I cannot. I think the only time I really liked Madden was on the PS2. I think Madden has become like one of those things, and I kind of it's the same with 2K. It's not that I can't stand 2K as much as it's like there's no competition out there to give me something different to try. Live tried and they're just horrible.
Hmm.
And
NFL Street was
we
really good.
yeah, we used to get wrestling games like everybody, there were so many different PlayStation had their own, SmackDown series
Yeah.
and I'm just like, where is the competition? I don't want to keep buying the same thing every year for different rosters and
Well,
they add I just don't I can't do it. I can't invest in that every year, it's kind of got to the point where I don't want to play sports games anymore,
I actually bought a sports game yesterday.
Oh, what'd you get? Oh,
And
the rugby game.
No, I got AFL 23, which is not rugby. It's Australian
okay.
football. It's a different thing. The big deal with it,
yeah.
because it's a smaller sports game, they actually did a 2024 roster update. So it's
That's
just
cool.
they sent an update instead of re-releasing the game because they can't afford to do that. So they did that. They sent out a roster thing and it's just update all the rosters.
Like,
And
Right. That's cool. I can respect that.
maybe
Yeah.
EA should take a note because,
But to be
Jesus.
fair, I played a couple of games. I got my ass kicked, but also I haven't played a AFL game in over 20 years. So that's on me. Like the last one I played seriously was 98.
That's
So-
nuts. So Frogs, you were talking about the 2K5, and
Yeah.
man, the RB vision in that game was my favorite freaking part of that
Yeah.
game. Like, because it
Yep.
would put you in the helmet of the running back, and you could literally find the holes in the
I loved
lanes
it.
so good. Or you'd get killed from behind, and it literally would send you like for a loop because you're like, damn, I didn't see that dude. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't nothing.
Mhm.
And so, man, those games. You want to talk about innovative? It literally had a mode that was called RB Vision that whenever you did a running play, as soon as the ball would hand off, it would transfer you down into the helmet view of the running
Yep.
back. There was no glitching, there was no lagging, there was no problem, and it did it perfectly. We can't even get people to be in position for a freaking tackle anymore, and these folks were doing
Yep.
seamless transitions from third person to first person, third person to first person without any issue whatsoever in real time. So, yeah, no competition has absolutely demolished the sports place. And that's including MLB The Show, because that game has not seen a graphical update since 2019. That whole
No,
franchise
I don't know
is
about
a
that.
joke.
I know people who play that like every year, and they say otherwise. So
Well,
I don't know.
they can say what they want as a person who
But like,
also buys
they're
it
the people
every
in
year.
on the nitty gritty of like what's changing every year. Like I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I've never played MLB, so
Yeah, no. I
like,
got you.
even-
Yeah.
like FIFA, I haven't played in 15 years. Same with Madden. Like I played the wheels off of NFL Street. I played that a fuck ton.
NFL
Yeah,
Street was
I'd
so
really
fun.
love to see some EA. I would really love to see some EA big style games come back. Like I really do think
Yeah.
we need that. Especially in an industry where everything is like how many NBA 2Ks or Maddens can we really play every year? How many football clubs, can we play every year? Like they really do need to change it up. I think those EA big games when they had, the NBA Street, dude, that really was fun. It really gave you something to kind of like, the SSX games. It wasn't realistic, but you had a good time. You had fun with
Yeah.
your friends, and then
Indoor
I
soccer
look at the game.
is another really good one.
Yeah. Yes, FIFA Street was awesome. I
Yeah.
just don't get what they're doing. Like, and I know I'm just one of those, I'm an outlier, but I stopped playing sports games such a long time ago because I found them this interesting, and I felt like it's just a money grab. It's like, hey, play this, and then you're like, hey, great, I'm playing this, but now it's like,
Well, I
man, like
was
if you don't buy VC or whatever, you can't really do anything in the game. You
yeah,
really have to spend a lot of money to play these games, and I'm not really that invested in the sports games to spend that money and play them.
I was the same way. Like I picked up Cricket 23 last year as well, and that was the first cricket game I've played in 20 years as well. Like I had a blast. I played like 60 hours of that game, and that floored me so hard because I thought I'd played 10. And yeah, it's like so. It's the same people who make the AFL one I'm playing as well. So they sort of do the same sort of thing because they're smaller games, so they can't have like updated rosters. So they update them like with just a free update for every year, which, as I said, it's because it's cheaper. So why not?
So
yeah,
But if you can sell a game, of course they're going to sell a game.
Exactly, and that's why they do it.
I got to run for a couple of minutes, but I'll be back.
That's fine. So speaking of selling games, we didn't hear anything about Ghost of Yotai today, which is kind of sad, but we did get a pretty hellacious reveal for 2 games. I'm going to start with Tides of Annihilation, and then we will finish with our thoughts on Saros, because that game, I there was some more information that came out, and the game's going to have me hooked probably day one, just because the way they're changing up some of the mechanics. It's going to be a little bit more player friendly and brutal at the same time, which I'm okay with brutal if I can eventually get to a point where I can just pub stomp and move on with my life. And so they're going to make that possible. But the first one that I want to discuss is Tides of Annihilation, which I had it up earlier, but when I closed all my tabs, I lost it. This is a multi-plat game. Eclipse Glow Studio, though, is made up of people who have done so many different awesome bangers. Let me actually just pull it back up real quick. Tides of Annihilation. Yep. Okay, so that's Xbox era. I'm trying to find something that doesn't give just a bajillion freaking ads, which there's no such thing. Anyways,
Probably PlayStation, PlayStation.com. That's probably like the best one to go to at this point.
yeah, but
So it doesn't give you a bajillion ads. Yeah,
they don't give all the good stuff, like where it's coming,
that's true. That's true.
who it's made by. Like, it tells you who it's made by, but it doesn't like dive into uh, a lot of the ins and outs. So basically, it's the way that there's a website called Checkpoint Gaming, and the way they describe it is London influenced by the aesthetics of Arthurian myth. So King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, and legends after it have been torn asunder by a deadly mist known as the Grey Fog. And honestly, the game looks fantastic. And I wish I had the article still pulled up, but there are a ton of heavy hitters that are working on this, that have worked on titles before those franchises became shit. And so you want to know where the old heads of Assassin's Creed went? They went to here. You want to know where some of the old heads of, I think they said Borderlands in there as one of them. Like, they went here. And so let's just watch, because I think this is going to be a freaking awesome, awesome game. First of all, the way it starts out, it does say at the bottom, mix of gameplay and in-game cinematics. So, like, we are getting gameplay at these events. And that's one of the... At first, when I saw this, I honestly was thinking it was a Final Fantasy game. When I saw the initial opening...
That's what I thought it was, too.
Dude! I was like, wait, Lightning didn't have brown hair.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I'm not gonna lie, I thought maybe they were gonna remaster what is it, Final Fantasy, all the Final Fantasy 13s, and I was like, okay, no, that's not it, because
That's what I
it's
thought
brown hair, and I
too.
was like, what is this? Yeah,
And I saw the big thing jump out
yeah.
of the water, and I was like, is that Sin? What? Is this 10? Because it just looks epically
Yeah,
Final Fantasy.
looks really good. Yeah,
My goodness. And the lead character looks great. The graphics look good. The fact that it has that, like, you just saw a scene right here. Let me back up to it. Because you just saw a scene that reminded me of like the old school God of War games in the perspective. This right here. Where like the camera zooms out and you're doing like this traversal up,
hmm
like scaling something. That is God
right,
of War 1 through 3 to a T. Like, and so I think these developers, man, they're starting to tap into, and like Josh said earlier, it's these developers that we've never freaking heard of. Like
right.
these Eclipse Glow Studios, when they said that's who it was, I was like, and who the shit is that? There's what are they doing? Who
So
are they with?
I know that this to the game was a Chinese developer. So it's gonna be interesting to see. And some people are putting it in that kind of like that Elden Ring, Black Myth Wukong, Stellar Blade kind of like feel. And I was like, I can kind of see that. I can kind of see the Stellar Blade kind of, we'll see. I'm interested in it. It's one I hearted. I wish listed it immediately. As soon as the conference is over, I was like, yeah, this is something I want to play.
Okay, so
Um,
I okay, we're gonna get on a little sidetrack here because I fully believe that Stellar Blade coming out and doing exactly what it did and how it did it and the gameplay that it actually like showed and like the difficulty level of Stellar Blade, I think they found the perfect spot to be that can attract not only the folks who want heavier combat, but also the folks like me who still want a power narrative. Like, I feel like
right,
Stellar Blade was that perfect balance of you're gonna get your butt kicked a lot, but
right.
you're
But you're
not
gonna
gonna,
have fun.
yeah, and you're not gonna spend 5 hours on one
Right,
boss and break three
right.
controllers just to beat the thing. Like, you're not. And I love that. I love that. It's and to
Mhm.
see more studios do it. Like, okay, so here was the article that I found. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me get it over here in the actual uh, show. Here we go. This is the article that I found, and it says it's just the beginning. We've created. Oh wait, nope. Eclipse Glow Games is a new studio based in Chengdu, China. Supported by investment from Chinese megacorp Tencent, Eclipse Glow is made up of over 100 developers with previous experience creating games for franchises including Yakuza, For Honor, Assassin's Creed, Persona, and Prince of Persia. Sign me up for that game any day of the fucking week. Like you just like you're you're talking about series like Yakuza that's about to release a game, Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii, that has me so ready to play it that it's going to be on my short list of games to buy this year because it looks phenomenally fun. For Honor, that's where Frogs is getting. It feels kind of Souls like. That's honestly pegged that
Yeah.
before he
hmm
even knew that.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed, Persona, and Prince of Persia. Prince of Persia is where you're getting the kind of pulled back camera, the side scrolling look almost, where you're scaling different things and doing different types of traversal stuff. Like, you can see influences from every single one of these titles in this game trailer. And I'm super, super excited about this. It looks like a game that's going to be completely and 100% up my alley. And so, and then of course, guys, we got the Stellar Blade. We got the new Stellar Blade. We got the most perfect person in video gaming next to Tifa. We have Stellar Blade. And so they will be doing a crossover. I'm wondering if it's going to have. I wonder if it's going to have story or if it's just going to be another, like, it says boss battle, collectible dolls, stickers, and new outfits. So kind of hope there's a story. Maybe there will be. Maybe there won't be. We will have to check and find out. It does have different boss modes in it, so that's going to be kind of fun. And I don't know. Frogs, what do you think on that one? Are you excited for some Stellar Blade DLC?
Um, Well, I put so many hours in Stellar Blade, and I think I got close. I like 70 something, almost, yeah, close to a platinum. And I was like, man, should I go through and play New Game Plus? And I don't know if you've ever had that feeling. Me and a friend of mine were talking about it. I'm getting really, really deep into a game, and I put 50, 60 hours into it. And then when I beat it, I'm like, man, I'm so depressed because I'm like, I was having such a good time. Like, what am I gonna do now? And now I gotta find that game. And once I move on, I'm kind of like, I'm not going back. Very rarely do I go back. Usually, once I play a game, and the DLCs is out, that's why a lot of Assassin's Creeds, like, I'm like, if your DLC doesn't come out soon, I'm just buying your regular whatever. Most games I just buy the base version and just go ahead and play them. I don't play the DLC. Very rarely will I do that. I have to really love the game, like Elden Ring. But something like Stellar Blade, I enjoyed it so much. It's something I will go back and play. Now that I see what's coming, I have a reason to really get back in there and jump back in there and play it. So it gives me a reason to do a new game plus. It really does. So that's a good thing. They did a good job at, with this game, and I can't wait to play it. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it.
So, Bender of Strings in the chat asked, "How in the hell do you beat Lily in the mech?" I'm there and barely made a dent. So, what Bender is talking about is that end fight, and that
That's
end
funny.
fight,
Right.
that stupid end fight, is the only fight that took me two different play sessions to beat. Because I'm
That's
sorry,
rough.
no, there was another one with the it's the oh, you're fighting them on a rooftop or on like a platform rooftop where you have to get this boss to like destroy the pillar, and I could not figure out how to shove his ass into the pillar to get it to fall so the whole thing would topple over. And I finally had to just Google like how the hell do I do this? But that fight and then the last fight, which is what Bender is talking about, were the only two times in the game that I literally thought of just saying F it and moving on and forgetting about it. Uh, but like, I'm so glad I stuck with it because the ending is so good. The wrap up that they do is really, really good. Everything you've kind of figure out who the baddie is about halfway through if you pay attention to all the little drops you get and everything and all the little lore pieces. You kind of figure out who the
Right.
bad person is. And so like that was kind of lackluster. You're like, all right, cool. And then there's kind of not really a cool payoff for that, but the fight with Lily kind of makes up for it. And so there just a critique of the game was the ending, the actual bad boss was very, very lackluster, and the fight with Lily is absolutely brutal. It's hard. It's very, very hard. Um, another
Yeah.
game.
It was really difficult. But I think that's the only fight, maybe as far as I can think of. I think that was the only fight that I did like maybe like four times. I struggled a little bit with that fight. I struggled a little bit,
I'm not.
and it's also it's the decision you make because there's multiple endings. So depending on the decision you make is depending on which ending you get, depending on how you fight. So the ending I got, obviously, I'm fighting this big old friggin' mech, and I'm like, this is crazy, but amazing game, such an amazing game.
Yeah, but you don't. Okay, so without giving anything away, you don't get the the really. There's something that
I know what you're
happens.
gonna. Yeah, you're trying
Like
not to give it away. Yeah,
there,
you're trying not to get. I know what you're talking about.
when you get the perfect ending, there is something cool that
Right.
happens, but you still have to kick her ass to get to that point. And so
Right.
it's a
Right.
pain in the
I get what you're
tail.
saying.
Because yes, once you get to that point, oh, the fight's just OV. It's just it's fun as hell at that point, and all your little power fantasy dreams come true. So,
Hmm. I totally
uh,
agree.
there is another game coming that is also going to be on the Switch that I will have to get my child. No questions asked, and it's going to be Sonic Racing. He has told me that he now wants to get into Mario Kart,
Oh my gosh.
and
Thank God
so,
somebody else said they actually, I'm a huge Sonic Racing fan because I like Mario Kart so much. I was like, PlayStation doesn't have a kart racing game, I always buy the Sonic racing games on PlayStation. So I was like, I hope I'm just not the only one that felt like, yeah, this looks cool. Because I thought that game looked cool. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, it did. It did. And we can actually watch the trailer real quick because I think it looked really, really good. It looks clean, it looks polished, it looks bright and
Yes.
colorful, and it looks like a Switch game made for the PlayStation, which is totally fine. It's a kart racer. Like Mario has set the
Hmm.
standard for these. They can look like absolute ass and still sell because, well, that's the standard for these kart racers. Until Switch 2 comes out, this is the standard.
Yep, I
And
agree.
like that's also why like it's available on PS4. There's a PS5 version and a PS4 version and a Switch version. Like there's there's no mistake that is the case because if they can make it for the Switch, they can make it for the PS4. And then they upscale it or tweak it a bit or make it look a bit better on the PS5. They clean up the edges, clean up the color palette a bit, make the colors brighter, things like that.
Look at
Like
that. This game just looks so fun.
it
This
does.
game
It
just looks
does.
like, I enjoy the Sonic racing games. The second one, not as much as the first one, but I think that they're just good games. I think, it's great to have a kart racer that's not a Nintendo. I primarily play on PlayStation. I will get a Switch too. That'd probably be like the only two consoles I probably own. But, until I get another Mario Kart, I'm happy with playing, the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Just some of the things it's doing. I'm like, oh, this looks so cool. So I thought I was the only one that was like, man, I actually want this. And like you said before,
Imagine
it's a
that.
family game. It's a game you can play with the whole family, you know. So I can't wait to get it.
Dude, Easy E starting us off at an hour and 36 minutes in with the 199 super chat. Appreciate it, dude. Ex Rockstar dev new game Mind's Eye looks amazing. Yes, it does. And we talked about that a little earlier. It looks really, really, really good. I'm That's the thing about this show. Like, I don't remember a show that had this many games in it that I've looked at them and gone, huh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's sick. Like the whole time up until okay. So if Jez is still here, if anybody watched his live reactions to this, there was a point between all the really cool games and the ending, which also had really cool games, where they brought out this person who was not Sean Benson. And I do not like this new person. I just now started liking Sean Benson doing these. And they brought out somebody who wasn't Sean Benson, and this person starts talking about all this freaking like indie stuff and like all these old games and games that look like they're just
Heck,
like ugh. They were just yuck. And I'm like, and Jess even was like, what the hell are they showing this shit for? He was like, Herman, Herman, you better come here and get her off the stage, Herman. And like, it's because they showed all this shit. And then, thankfully, dear goodness,
are you
thankfully,
talking about Kathleen?
yeah, I'm not a huge fan. They,
She's a
they
PR person. That's all.
yeah,
She's a marketing person.
they set her up to fail by having her introduce those games.
Well, she handles PS Plus, so
Oh, okay. Well, see,
yeah, she's a marketing person. Like
uh,
she's, I think, one of their social people.
they did do what they did do what they said they were going to do though, and they gave us, or I'm sorry, they did what was really smart to do, where they gave us all this cool shit. They gave us a bit of a break after everybody's entertained. They're building us up to the end. They pushed PS Plus really hard, did all that crap, and now they gave us a new game, which I was not expecting a new game announcement. So I it's would you have rather had a Ghost of Yotai trailer 2 or would you have rather had a new game announcement? Because like
New game.
they gave it to
Definitely new
us.
game.
They
I could go
gave
either
it
way.
to us.
I think the only reason I say new game is because it kind of shows that the studios are working on other projects we don't know about, and it kind of
Mhm.
gives you kind of a because I'm not gonna lie, like I definitely would love to see, some more Ghost of Yotai, but we know it's coming. As far as we know, it's coming this year.
Hold
But
on.
when they show a new game, no,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, if like the question I have is, if we got a Ghost of Yotei, would it have had a release date? Because if it had a release date, I think that's a different statement altogether.
You know what? Yeah. Now that you say yeah. You know what? If we had a Ghost of Yotai, maybe, yeah. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, if it got dated, I think that's a very different statement to a new game, which new games are cool, but Ghost with a date, and if it's like the first half of the year, I think that would be really cool.
That would have been really good. Yeah, I would have took that too. Yeah, that would have been really good.
So I think that's why I'm so frustrated, is because, not frustrated, it's why I was kind of disappointed in no Ghost of Yotai, because and Josh, you know this, as soon as I heard no big massive tentpole games for 2024 fiscal year, my mind said, awesome, whatever game y'all announce, I'm getting that bitch in April.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, you told me nothing for the next 12 months. And I said, you know what, Sony? Okay. You came out of the gate swinging. You swung hard for the fences. Now you're in a lull. Y'all just had to clean house. Y'all had y'all had co-CEOs in there cleaning house. Everything is back to the proper structure now. And I want Ghost of Yotai in April. But
I think Ghost of Yotai, they're probably going to wait for GTA to get dated. I think that's what I think a lot of things are waiting for GTA to get a date. And I think, because I keep saying June, I'm going to stick by June, but I'm starting to think that it's probably November. And I don't like that.
I can kind of agree with that. I think you're onto something. I think a lot of games aren't getting release dates because they're waiting for GTA to have their big announcement and get dated. I can totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
So hang on.
I think the ones that got dated today they didn't have a choice, because I don't think, maybe apart from Borderlands, they're going to get another shot to give us a date. I think that's why we're getting dates right now. Like Borderlands, they're getting a state of play. We know that. They said that. I think besides them, not many other people are going to have a chance to give us a date before now. Like until their release date in August or September.
Last year, we had 2 state of plays in the first 4 months of the year.
Yes.
So if we get another state of play, I think that...
Well, we are. They announced one today. We're getting one in spring.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's spring for you guys. It's autumn for me. So.
Sure.
Yeah, they did say that at the state of play. We're getting another one. Yeah, basically spring, autumn. Yeah, that's what we're getting it.
So the other thing was, and this isn't something that I had on here because I try not to just let my Square shillness show, but
if you want to talk about Square, I will discuss Square with you.
I know you will. But we have a whole chat room that might not want to discuss Square right now. I was sad, though, and I will say this. I was sad that we didn't see him. While you were gone, I had said that the trailer for Tales of Annihilation, honestly, the first thought I had when she walks up and grabs the sword out of the pile, I'm like, oh shit, that is lightning. This is Final Fantasy 13. And then I saw her hair color, and I was like, damn it, that's not lightning. Then I
had a thought today afterwards about what's going on with Square, because I think they've told us. And I think we're not going to see Square at PlayStation events for a little bit. Because I think they're doing their whole, we're going to have Xbox market our stuff because they don't buy it, so they give us free shit. And I think that's what's going on, is I think Xbox is going to have marketing with Square for a little while, just because by proxy of games not selling there, Xbox is desperate to get the games, so they're giving them more money for the marketing.
God, they've done this once before, damn it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I think's going on. I don't think it's going to work either.
Well, it didn't work once before. It forced Square to come crawling back to Sony.
Yes. I don't think Xbox is getting anything exclusive out of this. I think it's just purely for marketing. Yeah, because Square looks like a much bigger fish on Xbox than it does on PlayStation.
Bale Dante, what are you saying? Oof, what to? Like, are you saying that to what Josh just said, or because y'all are on like a 10-second delay, so I have a
Yeah,
hard
you're
time
delayed a little
seeing
second.
exactly where that you're saying that to. But like it, frogs, are you a JRPG guy? Are you a Square guy?
Yes, I'm a huge JRPG, and I'm a huge Square guy. Huge Square guy.
Okay,
Huge Square guy.
You're in
so
the right company
I've
then.
been there. Yeah, I'm a huge Square guy. Yeah, you know.
uh,
Usually, if Square says, "Hey, we got this or that," I'm like, "Okay, let's see," and I'll buy
Yep.
it. So yeah, and I'm a huge JR. I'm playing through Octopath Traveler right now,
Nice.
and I am in love with that game. I just any JRPG I'll give a chance, but Square you can't tell me Square doesn't make good games. They make great games.
That
They
they do.
make great games.
yeah, and since you're a Square guy and you came over to PlayStation around the PS2, PS3 era that you mentioned earlier,
Yeah. Yeah,
early
as far
on.
as like being like that being my main console, I had the PS1 and all that, but like being my main console, like I had the PS2 and I played like the main franchise, but PS3 solidified like this is where I need to be. And it was mostly because Red Ring of Death and Uncharted. Uncharted was
Mm,
made me say, "Oh, I need to get like." When I went through so many Red Rings of Death, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to PlayStation." And then when I saw the first Uncharted game, I had never seen anything that looked graphically that good, and I was sold. Never went back. Never went back. But
Was
I've
so
it
had all the PlayStation consoles.
when you
I've had
saw
them all.
Uncharted? Was it when you saw him get wet and he's like his pants get half wet in that trailer?
Yes. Yep. Yep. That was it.
that is,
That was it. That was it. That was the defining moment. I was like,
Yeah,
"Yo,
that's an
PlayStation is
impressive
doing
trailer
things."
too.
you mean we can
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
put
like,
water
PlayStation's
on
doing
clothing?
things. Yeah,
yeah,
the 360s is doing. I was like, holy
yeah.
crap. I,
It's
and I still had a 360, but it was mostly for like my shooters and like all my narrative based games. I just played it on PlayStation. And then when I
yeah.
found out they call it, because I'm not gonna lie, I was in the mind frame like a lot of people are. Like, I gamed, but I Call of Duty's advertising was so big on Xbox 360, I didn't know it was on PlayStation. Did not know.
Yeah,
So
And then one day a friend of mine was like, it's on PlayStation too.
that Uncharted trailer where they show his pants and they get half wet is incredible. Just because on
Yeah,
Xbox it was that the whole model gets wet. That's what they were doing
yeah.
to do that sort of stuff. Whereas on PlayStation, it's like, yeah, only like his pants get wet.
which is
And
like,
they did that with snow in 2 as well.
well, I was gonna say
How you can see
like
his footsteps in the snow.
that's part of gaming. So whenever I look at a game, real quick, let me respond to Bale Dante. He said yes, that would make it look like they are hurting for money, or the bag from MS is heavier than what PS is offering. I want to touch on that. And El Nini, what is up? I haven't seen you in a minute. How the heck are you? So yes, so on what Bale Dante said, we have to look at the relationship between Square and Sony recently, on the PS5 at least, because they had the marketing for Star Ocean, which did shit. They had the marketing for Valkyrie Elysium, which did shit. They had the marketing for Forspoken, which PlayStation did every single freaking thing that they could to make that game a success, and it turned out to be shit. And like, not the game in general. I'm talking about like sales and all of that. Even after they fixed it, you can go back and play the game now. It plays fine, runs fine. It's fine. It's a decent game, whatever. But like, it literally tanked them. That is one, two, three games in a row that all kind of came out like I said, in a row.
That's a bit different because that's before they changed their strategy of having less games. Because Square, right after Valkyrie Elysium, came out and said they want to make less games of higher quality.
No, no, no. I get that, but you have to like, as far as PlayStation like looks at that though, they did not. There's no way in hell they made their money back on
Oh
Star
no, I don't think
Ocean
so either.
and Valkyrie
But I
Elysium
also
and Forspoken.
well, Star Ocean's a harder one to gauge because I think they probably did it on Star Ocean because I don't think that game cost a ton to make.
It couldn't have. There's no way. There's... And Valkyrie Elysium. Let's be honest. Those two games were nothing more than training grounds, and I will say this until I'm blue in the
Yeah,
face. They were training grounds for Final Fantasy 16 and the combat that we see in 16. Like,
Yeah.
everything
Well, that's what
about those
Capcom
two.
does.
Sure.
That's what Capcom does. Capcom like tests shit all the time on this stuff. Like if you play Resident Evil 8, it's the same inventory system as Resident Evil 4. Like Resident Evil 7 is the same inventory as Resident Evil 3 and 2. They test shit all the time, like in other games.
Huh.
Like it's so they have to do less work on the game.
I mean, that makes sense. But like,
Yeah.
you can tell with the, especially like I said, Valkyrie Elysium gave you these essentially like things that could fight with you. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah.
But each
I haven't
one,
played Elysium, but yeah.
oh, it's the combat is super fun. The
No, I know.
combat
I've
is great.
seen it. It's on my list to play. I think I even own a copy.
I
just haven't
do
played
own
it.
a copy. I found it last week. I found it.
The
deep
other
in
one that
my,
I have a copy of that I haven't played yet is Deerfield Chronicles. Like, I found that.
Okay.
Ooh, I haven't played that.
I've got a
But
copy.
I
of
did beat. I beat Vacuum Elysium. I beat the crap out of that game. I fell in love with it. It was just the combat was fun.
The combat
I want to
was
play
so
the
fun.
remake of the first one, Valkyria Profile. I want to replay
Yeah,
that one.
Valkyrie Lenneth. Yeah, so my biggest downside of playing Valkyrie Elysium, which I'll probably pop it back in and play it, like now that I'm thinking about it, because the combat was really fun. But like when you go and talk to kind of the king or your leader or whatever the hell his name is, it is so bad. It looks like PS3 graphics got put into a
Well,
blender.
That's what AA games are now. That's how games are made cheaper. Like
I don't know.
Frog's mentioned earlier how like
so bad.
he thinks that AA is like, and a lot of people say AA is gone. AA isn't gone. You're just not looking hard enough for it. Like I love the Neptunia series. They're all AA, A at best. Like they're cheap and they make them out every year and they're always different. But they're not AAA games. They're crap. In theory, they're like best of 7, but that's all what AA is.
So here's the
that's what it does.
Yeah, like Valkyrie Elysium and like all the other ones, that's what they are. They're just 7s.
Yep.
So I don't think the AA space is going away at all. I think.
Oh no, people say it's gone, not going away.
No, so and here's the reason why that statement is completely false. And like you said, it's more of a we have to change our perspective of what we think of AA, because a game like Space Marines 2 is a AA game. In every stretch of the imagination, it's a AA game. Funny enough, a game like Helldivers 2 is also a AA game. But because these have backing and because they get popular and because they get so like, oh my god, this thing is amazing, we look at it and go, well, that's not a AA game, is it?
One of the biggest AA games you will see was at this show, and that is Yakuza. Yakuza is infamously a AA game.
Which is insane because people would call it a AAA studio.
Is.
They recycle the city forever.
Yep.
And like I think like I haven't played 7 like the more recent ones, but yeah, they had the same city for like 1 through 6. And they had the same character models. They updated little bits and pieces, but a lot of the places were exactly the same. And that's how they saved money. And now they're viewed as this huge deal.
Yeah, well, and their games, and we've talked about it before on the channel, their games come out and sell 1 million to 2 million copies, and they're over the moon. Like, they're so excited. They're like, this is great, let's do another one.
Well, that's the same thing with Neptunia. Like, the Neptunia series sell like 1 million or 2, and they're ecstatic about it, but like, you wouldn't know if you didn't know what you're looking for. Like, people haven't heard of that series.
Yeah, and it's actually a good series, but
hell yeah,
you're right. Like you have to rethink. I think you rethink about like the AAA, AA space, and then your A and your B tier games. Yeah, you know, I think we're kind of missing like those B tier and A games. Like we used to have a lot of that back in the day when we had our acclaims and you know our THQs, but we don't. We have. I guess we kind of have that with you know some, but it's just like those games really get no attention, and you see them like I'm playing through. Me and my wife were playing Atlas Fallen. I'm like, oh, this is a B at best game.
100%.
But it's definitely a game that you kind of like, oh, okay, didn't know this existed. but you kind of play. And I think what happened is a lot of these game developers, they come out and they're like, hey, we're gonna show you this trailer. We're gonna introduce this game, and we're just gonna throw it out there for $69. And when it doesn't buy, and people are like, I think that it's the developers too. Like those games don't shouldn't. I think they gotta price their games differently. That game
Yeah.
probably. If it came out at $29, I might have bought it. But when you price that game at full retail price, I'm looking at it like, but there's so many other games that I want to buy over that. So I think that's what kind of hurts a lot of
And that's
these
it.
A B and some of these double A, like I think Helldivers got it right when they said $39.99. I was like, that's perfect. That was a
Yep.
perfect, and I think a lot of developers need to learn like price your game at 39. Not everybody needs to be $69 game. Price it at 39. Get some sales, and then maybe you drop it later. I think a lot of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed games should be priced cheaper because they're not worth it. But I understand why they do it.
I'm buying Assassin's Creed day one, but that's just me.
So,
This new one, I'm definitely buying day one.
Yeah.
I think that's why people say that AAA or that AA is gone, because what they're seeing, people are equating people are equating AAA with $70. If your game is $70, it is no longer a AAA game, or it's no longer a AA game. It is a AAA game. 100%.
I also think that's a little bit of an American problem as well, because like our prices for games do change a lot. In the you guys have this $70 or $60 or $50, whereas we have like $125 or they're $119 or they're $89, like depending on where you buy, because we have actual competition for retail. Mm-hmm. So like Assassin's Creed, I could go to EB Games and buy it for $125, or I can go to JB Hi-Fi and get it for $89.
Oh,
so like that's why I'm like,
wait,
I think
what?
the perception of how much stuff costs is a little different.
That's true
that's
too,
crazy.
because we are standard pricing. Like if you can be
and EB is as well. Like EB's whole deal is that they're like the proper retail price of everything. Like Sony stuff always comes out at 125. Maybe there'll be 119 if it's got a bit of a sale, like on day one. But like you can go to other places and pick it up for $90, $100, like $80 if you really tried.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens here, but only after the game has been out for a while. And you'll see like Best Buy will throw it on sale. Then after Best Buy throws it on sale, the next week Target has it on sale. And then after that, Amazon and Walmart put it on sale. And then after that, it's back up to $70. And it's $70 everywhere. And it
could also be because we have retails at price match. So if I go into EB and go, well, this place is selling it for this much, they'll be like, we'll give you that price then.
We used to. Hell, Walmart here used to price match. Used to be able to go in with an ad from anywhere, even an online ad, and they would price match. And now they do not price match at all unless it is from their website and they have a third-party retailer selling the product for cheaper on their website, mind you, that they control, selling it for cheaper than they are, which I can tell you how many times that actually happens.
I was going to also say, I think the other thing is too, like, the digital market is pretty big, so a lot of people don't like I can honestly tell you, like, I buy everything digital with the exception of anything Nintendo. I buy everything physical with Nintendo because their value never drops. No. And so the only time I don't really buy anything, I would say or digital is when it's like a collector's edition I want. Outside of that, I buy everything digital. And so I think that's the other thing I look at is, if your game comes out and you're like, oh, here's our game and it's $69, and you're like, okay, you put it out there digitally. I can wait for a price drop once on Atlas Fallens, but if a God of War comes out, I'm just gonna buy that day one. And that's why I think some of these developers, I think they just got to learn, like, hey, maybe we're not pricing our game, in the right context. And I think that's just what it is.
I also think people have trouble identifying AA games now. Like, you used to look at it and you used to be able to identify it and go, this is AA because it looks AA. Whereas graphics have gotten so good and it's so easy to do. People can't do that anymore.
Right. Totally agree.
So, AA, AAA, all of that stuff, like, I think that we are...
What if I told you about Triple I?
Yeah. Have you heard about Quadruple A? Those we have Avowed coming. That is a quadruple A game. That dude
That
is
is the
coming out.
dumbest thing.
Quad A.
Quadruple A studios. We got a quadruple A studio. We got a machine that eats other machines for. Oh,
Isn't it
eats
wild
monsters for
that
breakfast?
quadruple A thing was just a typo and they couldn't admit it?
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That was all the way bad.
The game is targeting 30 FPS. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Jeez.
Like, triple A, yeah.
You,
Like, okay.
You want to know something I didn't have
guess.
to ask today, even once during the state of play? Is this game going to be 60 FPS? Didn't have to ask that once. You know why?
No.
Because
Nope.
they are.
Yep.
Like,
You
they
just know
are.
you know what's gonna run and how it's gonna run. Yeah.
I just it's gonna be fine. It's going to be.
It was
wonderful.
interesting that one of them they showed running on the Pro. That I thought was interesting. Like, so the marketing is
Oh.
through the Pro.
Yes.
You're right. They did. They did.
They actually showed a couple on the
You know,
Pro.
That makes me think and wonder when Grand Theft Auto finally is kind of like really marketed. Are they gonna, if Sony has the market, are they gonna really show that game on the Pro? Because to me, that sounds like the smart bet. Like, show
Yeah.
us run on a PlayStation 5 Pro and show what it can really do. And
Yep.
then, for all those other people who are like, you know what, I may want to get the better system if I haven't invested. Because you got a big market of people over on PlayStation 4 who I think are gonna really migrate to PS5 because of Grand Theft Auto. That
Yep.
game is going to make them migrate. So you're going to see a big, and this is just my thinking, you're going to see a big influx of PlayStation 5 console sales. Once that game is announced with a day and date, especially if Sony has the marketing, you're going to see
Sony does.
PlayStation 5s. Yeah, you're gonna see PlayStation 5s fly off the shelf. That
Yep.
marketing is going to be key, and it's just going to be like, here you go, here's your Grand Theft Auto, and they're going to say run on, because we know the PC version is going to come out probably for another year. So, they're going to say run it on PS5 Pro, and you probably won't get your online, any of your online stuff until like the PC version comes out. That's what I kind of predict. I kind of speculate that.
The GTA Online, I think, will be 2 weeks after it launches.
Ooh,
They give you a grace period
Wow.
of 2 weeks. They did that on 5.
that would be interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, they released online 2 weeks after 5 launched. And it
That's
didn't
it.
even launch complete.
That's their moneymaker.
Yeah.
That's their big moneymaker.
I think that they will do the same thing because I think the sales will sustain them of GTA because you have to buy GTA. It's not free like it has
Right.
been. So I think that's a big thing is they're going to be like, yep, these are sales. Then the microtransactions come 2 weeks later because they're going to fix all the bugs and make sure it all runs properly first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I could see that. I mean, that game is going to absolutely wreck shop, and
Oh, yeah.
it's
The two most interesting business things to look at this year are going to be what happens with PS5 when GTA comes out. I think that's going to be fascinating
Yes.
to watch. The other big
It's gonna
one
be a big deal.
that people are not looking at is Switch 2 if Pokemon is on it day one.
Ooh. Never
Frog,
thought about
Frog-
that.
If Switch 2 launches with Pokemon, step back. That's going to be insane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna be ridiculous.
real quick, guys. If you could, we are 2 hours into this now, and we are actually over the 2 hour mark in a normally 2 hour show. We have hit 700 freaking subscribers. I
Woohoo!
am
Yep.
so happy. Thank y'all so much. Y'all constantly keep coming
It's
back.
coming.
Y'all constantly keep
It's
showing
coming.
up. And
I knew it.
I just thank y'all so much for that. From like everything in me, just that's awesome. It's still surreal sometimes that y'all
Yeah,
come back here
that's
every
awesome.
week to hear me talk. it's just weird, but it's fun. So yes, thank you so much for that. Let's get on to a couple fake actors. Let's get on, and by a
Uh-oh.
couple, I mean the entire community on X that absolutely bastardized PlayStation because of an outage that was not their fault.
Oh my god.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about that. Oh, let's do this. Frogs, real quick. Frogs, and then
Sure.
Josh. So Frogs, what is your rating for the state of play? What would you give it on a
If
1
I
through
had to,
10?
if I had to give it a solid 1 through 10, just a solid number, I would say right now how I feel about it, it's a solid 8. I would say it's a solid 8. It's like
Solid 8. Okay.
solid 8. Yes, solid 8. Solid 8.
All right,
Yeah.
Josh. Same question to you.
Yeah, I'd be sitting at an 8. I was sitting much lower. The last 3 games really pulled it together.
Yep. Yep. That's what did it. That's what did it. Yep. I was at a 6. And then those last 3 games, I was like, holy crap, man, I want
Yeah.
these games.
Yeah.
The way they rolled out the end of that was very impressive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think probably the structure for data plays going forward, I would hope, is like because they do leave PlayStation Plus and all their little bits and pieces to the end. I think get them out around the middle, and then just fire off the last couple of things rapid fire.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I really
And
like-
seeing Sean Benson is always good. I enjoy Sean Benson. I like her. As I told you last time we discussed the state of play, like last year, we were going to see more of her.
Yeah, you did. You were like, I think she's
Yep.
going to be in every single one going forward. And lo and behold, she's been in every single one going forward. They literally swarmed Reforged stream after the SOP saying Xbox is better. That's freaking hilarious. That's funny.
Reforge, I wanted to see his reaction because I know he's a big Housemarque fan from Returnal, so I'm sure he
Dude,
blew
right?
up at the end of that.
Like, so that game is going to be super interesting, and I know we didn't talk about it much.
I'm playing Returnal now, so that's what's interesting to me. Is I'm actually playing Returnal, trying to like it, and I don't know if I'm there yet.
The biggest thing for me is that they've made the level up.
Ooh, that
not
game
level
is
up
hard.
system,
Yeah,
but they've
That
made
game
the
is hard.
system different in this game. From what they've talked about, now instead of like losing all your stuff and only getting a few permanent upgrades, like you will always be able to upgrade your character. You get to
they want to
keep-
keep making you stronger every time.
Yes.
So let me ask this question: Is it more like a true like Metroidvania now?
No, it's still a roguelike, but like when
Oh,
you
so it's
die,
still a
there's
roguelike.
more.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
there's more permanent stuff that sticks to you. That's what they said.
Oh.
Is like you will feel stronger as you go through.
You know, I think and I put like probably 19 hours in Returnal. I got like to the third world, I want to say. It got hard. But the game is hard. The game is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous, you know. And then I didn't realize it until because I had stopped and I went on to something, but I didn't realize, and I just recently somebody was telling me, it was like, hey, you know, it's multiplayer. You can play with your wife.
Yeah,
I was
now-
like, what?
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
added
know
co-op.
that. I was
Yeah.
like, me and my wife would have tried this. So now I re-downloaded
It's-
it. We're gonna try to get through it. I don't know
It's
if it makes it
apparently-
harder.
It does kind of because you have one health bar between yours, so you have the same amount of health between both of you.
That's
Oh, that's
interesting.
interesting.
You can but if someone goes down, you can revive them, but you have one health
Right.
bar sort of between you both. Like you each get like half the health of what Celine normally would have. That's what I hear. I haven't done it yet, but that's how
That's
I hear it works.
interesting.
That's
No,
not
I
the
mean,
way
I'm really
I've
interested
done.
in that
I've
concept.
done Returnal multiplayer, and it didn't feel that way. Maybe it was, but it did not feel that way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I like the ideal of Returnal, and I like the world. I'm not gonna lie. When Returnal first came out, I thought it was gonna be a pure Metroidvania, and I was super excited because I wanted that for PlayStation. I was like, oh, we got a Metroidvania type game, and it became something else, and I was like, another roguelike. But I end up liking it. You know, I end up liking it, and I was like, maybe I just need to go back and sit there because, like I said, I got like to the third world, but it just that third boss, it got really hard. I was like, man, this game is hard. You know?
I'm playing it
And,
now because someone said the story is really good, and I really want to check it out. And I didn't click with it after about 10 hours last time, and I'm about 6 in it now, and I'm like, it's not clicking with me, but I'm going to give it to the second boss and see if it clicks with me.
Right. It's one of those games I would definitely say you got to give it. Well, I don't know. Like everybody's different. Like I've played games and I've played games and it didn't click with me. And I was like, I don't get this game. I remember the first time I tried a Souls game, like Demon Souls, but I was like, this game makes no sense. Like the very first time I played it back on PS3, this game makes no sense. It didn't make sense to me until about maybe like 3 or 4 years later when I tried to pick it up and I just tried it and I was like, oh crap, this clicks. And then once it clicked with me, every Souls game after that, I fell in love with, and I was like, because something about it just made sense at a point.
Yeah.
And I think what happened is I was like talking to people who played it, and they were making sense of it, and it made more sense to me, and so it just clicked. And then after that, I just became a huge Souls fan, you know. And I was like, oh, now this makes sense. I get why this game is so good, and you know, because I was like, I'm frustrated just like everybody else. This game is hard. I don't want to play this crap. You know, and then when it made sense to me, I was like, oh, so you know, it's really strategic. And I think I think Returnal's kind of one of those games. It's like that a little bit. Like it's kind of strategic. You really gotta like you know how
Yeah.
you get in a fight. You know how you get into a game. And you're like you're fighting and it's a hard game. And you're like, dang, that fight. Once you in Returnal, I kind of realized like once you get in a fight and you kind of do what you got to do, you got to take a breath after that
Yeah.
main fight and just kind of sit there and say, okay, what do I want to do next? And you got to have a plan. That Returnal's just that type of game to me.
Yeah.
You got to have a
Especially
plan
since
for it.
stuff respawns, like you have to have that plan.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
Yes.
because I have 20 hours in the game and I still haven't made it out of the first biome because
Yeah.
I can't beat the
I'm not
that
I
bad.
can't beat the
I'm-
boss in the first biome. I die.
I was doing the boss 2 nights ago or whatever, and I like got it right at the end. I'm like, I could almost do this. I was like, yep, I can feel it. Like next time I'm gonna do it. So I sort of get that appeal of it. But we'll see. Like the story, everyone tells me the story is really good, so I really want to check out the
It's
actual
really
story.
good. Yeah.
So
That's the thing that's
It's really
pushing me through.
I am
I want a
excited
good
because
story.
I think it's going to appeal to gamers like me who do want that ability to get my ass kicked but constantly be progressing. That's a
No.
big thing for me. Not feeling like my character just remains in that helpless state is
Sure.
is
Mhm.
big to me. But speaking of helpless, this is going to be our segue.
Yes.
We had PlayStation down for almost 24 hours. PlayStation
Ooh.
Network, not PlayStation as a whole, but PlayStation
Yeah, yeah.
Network. If you weren't trying to pair up your disk drive on the day that the PSN was down, you should have been
Who
totally
would do
fine.
that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I saw that.
but like those are bad actors. Like that's what
Yes.
that is.
Yeah.
Those are
get-
bad actors.
Hold on, I get testing it just to see what it does, but not be like, I've got a problem. No, you've made this problem yourself.
No.
Yep. I agree.
Also, I have several games that I have digitally that I have downloaded that do not require an internet connection, and therefore I have a ton of games that I can play whether or not, because
Yep.
remember the PS5 Pro did come with 2 terabytes
Yep.
of space.
Mhm.
I still have 300 gigs left. And so I have all my Final Fantasies on there. I have everything.
I was just playing Sly
Yeah.
Cooper. Like the big the
Right.
problem for me is I couldn't see my trophies, but I know how to get around that because I know how to see my trophies when I'm not connected to the internet. So
Hey,
There you
you
go.
there was no real problem for me.
But man,
And I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know what these people who are like, I can't connect and play my games. I'm like, so the only way that would happen was if you're game sharing.
yes.
Right.
And then if you're game sharing, then whose problem is that? That's not Sony's problem.
Nope. That's on
Right.
you.
And
Yeah,
so
that's on you wanted to do it that way.
there is something to be said about, hey, it does suck. Like a couple of the articles have
No.
pointed out that there were tons of weekend like free
Sure.
events this weekend. There were tons of stuff
I
that
get
were
it
going
sucks.
on.
And I'm like, I was part of the Monster Hunter beta, so I'm like, cool. And I was playing the beta. And I got everything done before that, so I was like, okay, like I'm pretty I'm content where I am in the beta. So this didn't affect me too much. Like I couldn't play with one of my friends. That's annoying. But like I'm not like, give me fucking Horizon. Like I don't need a free game.
Right. So
It was 20 hours.
what they did was they gave, and like I said, that day my wife had yanked me out of the house. So like dude, I was gone from like 10 o'clock in the morning until later that night. I was completely out of pocket the whole day, and then by the time I got back home, it had come on, and so I was like, literally one of the guys in the chat or in the Discord. By the way, guys, we have a Discord. You can join it via the permalink in the description below. And one of the guys in there was like, it was Cosmic, and he was like, Thrifty popped his head in here and was like, what the hell is going on? Because everybody was losing their shit. And I'm like,
Mhm.
whoa. And it was basically people posting stuff from X and then all of us commenting on how ridiculous people were acting. Like that's essentially what the Discord was that day. And so I get on and I see all of this stuff. PlayStation's down. PlayStation's down. I can't believe it's down. Why is it down? I'm leaving PlayStation. I can't believe it. I'm just going to switch to whatever. I'm just blah blah blah. This might be the final straw for me. Okay. So,
If that's your final straw, you got a problem.
if that's
Exactly.
let me break it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if that's you, and like Josh just said, if that's your final straw, then you if that's your final straw, I promise you that you have had a problem with gaming for
Yeah,
way longer than
you were
just
going
that
anyway,
outage.
regardless of whether it went down. You were going at some point.
Right. You were leaving. And I made a I basically made a comment inside the Discord and was like, listen, there's a lot of people who are growing out of gaming and they do not know how to handle that. Like, they do not know how to remove themselves from being a gamer, but games no longer provide the same feeling or the same experience or the same rush or the same thrill as it used to. Everybody goes through this with something at some point. Hobbies fall off. We talked about it earlier. Frog said he used to be into all the sports games and used to play them, but after '05 he stopped. Like,
Yep.
that's something that happens. Hell, he talked about something that I did almost a whole show on, talking about gamer ADHD and gaming depression. When, like, right after I
Yes.
got done with Final Fantasy 16, I was depressed and I didn't want to pick up a
Yes.
controller. Like, it.
Man, yes, that's a real thing. That's
I,
a real
Yeah.
thing.
I literally was
People don't
talking.
understand when you I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. People don't
Go ahead.
understand when you put so much time into a game and you're really in that world and that's really your thing, that's your like your kind of outlet. When you kind of like I'm gonna be honest, like man, Elden Ring was my thing, man. I put so many hours in the Elden Ring and I would beat it and then I would go back and beat it again and again and again because and I just kept wanting to search the world and find and it got to a point that I was like I don't have I couldn't find a game to fill that void of what Elden Ring was doing for me until the DLC came out. And I was like, I'm back again. And I'm like, okay, when the new Elden Ring comes out, I was like, I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm going to take it little by little because I know how I am with Souls games. And I'll get in it and I'll just play that game. That'll be the only game you see me play. And I'm like, sometimes that cannot be the best thing for you. Sometimes you got to take a break and play something else or do something else, period, you know? But I can tell you, you will get into a game and you'll say, "Man, this is my game, and this is my jam." And man, when you sit back and you're like, "Man, I done put 1,000 hours to this game. What am I doing?" It's not that the depressing thing is like you've done everything that the game really can do for you. There's nothing else. You got a platinum. You can't do crap else for this game. And you're like, man, you're looking for something to fill that void, and at the time that may be nothing. And so you kind of feel a little bit sad, and you're
Dude,
like, okay,
Yeah.
it was such a
yeah.
thing. Like, I tried so many games during the month after Final Fantasy 16, and nothing. I'd put it on, I'd play 10, 15 minutes and just shut it off and go do something else. I was like, I don't want. And it's not because what it was for me was the ending of Final Fantasy 16 was such a massive ass letdown for me that it literally just left that sour taste in my mouth and I was like, I don't want to touch a game right now. I really don't. Like, I just spent 65 hours with this game. No, I'm sorry. I spent 88 hours with that game and I was done. I was finished. I didn't want to do it anymore. And the way that game ended really set me on like I'm done. I I yeah, Square Enix really botched the ending of that game in my perspective. I know Josh is a little different than that on me or than me on that, but I did not like the ending because it played into the same damn trope that they've used and everybody's used about a million times. Like it it would have been more impressive if the ending was exactly the opposite of what it was. Like, and I don't want to give anything away. This isn't a spoiler show or anything like that, but like in those moments people just have to realize, hey, listen, maybe gaming isn't for you anymore. Maybe you have to find something else. And I understand the pushback to that is I shouldn't have to find something else. They should continue to make great games and make great decisions. Yes, but like eventually, I don't know if I'm going to be 65 years old playing a video game. I don't
I
know.
will.
I probably will. I mean, I've been doing it for 30 years already, so like
Yeah.
I probably will. But like there
Unless I
might
lose fingers, I'm doing it.
this is, this is true. But like, I've also never been extremely discontented with
No.
the video game industry as a whole.
Yes. I
And,
think the other big thing that people do not do that they should is take breaks.
yes.
Is
Well,
like, it's okay to take a break for a while. I've had 2 weeks off. I've played a little bit of games. I haven't played as much as I probably would have thought I would. But like, I've been catching up on anime and I've been reading manga. Like, it's okay to take a break from stuff and do other things.
well, and that's so one of the things that I do is I try to strike a balance, right? I've never wanted to give myself over to anything fully because I feel like you get very one-dimensional at that point. And so like I play Magic the Gathering. I play D&D on Saturday nights, well every other Saturday now. I do the YouTube channel. I work in HVAC. I play video games. I then also have friends that we hang out and do other things. Like we'll go hike.
I hang out with my friends and play video games. That's what we.
Right. Like well, I don't have a lot of gamer friends except for y'all. And well, sometimes getting people to play at the same time that I'm available to play is
Sure.
rather or on the same game because
I mean,
yeah.
like, I've gone through periods where, like, I don't play a game for 3 weeks. And, like, that's fine.
Yeah, I've gone through periods like that before too.
But
Yeah, and, like,
nowadays
you
it's
get caught up
so
doing something else.
it's so much emphasis in the gaming community, especially the one on Twitter and X. And God love you, frogs. I think getting off of that cesspool was probably the greatest thing, and that
Yeah.
you've ever done was taking that massive step
Yep.
back that you had mentioned on Jez's show last week. Like taking that
Yeah.
massive step back is probably the best thing you ever did because all I see on X is you're not a real gamer if your gamer score or if your hourly report at the end of the year doesn't have four
Hold on.
digits. Like,
I got a
And
bone.
it's
Before we go on
ridiculous.
this, I'll let Frogs go for a second. You can do your thing because I got a bone to pick with some people about this.
yeah, because so like me,
Yeah.
I game about 900 hours consistently every year. Like you can go back and see ever since they've started doing this, and I'm usually between 875 and about 975 for the year. And I beat about
Ooh.
4 to 6 games, and I play about 50 to 60. I think that's what my numbers have generally
Mhm.
been. And that's a damn good year
Right.
for me. This year, I'm going for 12 games. Beat, I want to do one a month. And so Final Fantasy VI will be that one. But, like, Frogs,
Hell
do
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, dude? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
do you put in
Mhm.
4,000 hours a year gaming?
No, I easily for my year, I would say I average between probably 1,000 to 1,500 a year. Now, with that being
Well,
said,
hey, you're a real
one
gamer
of those
then. Good job.
but one of those games I may really take in, like I said, like Elden Ring, I put so much time in just that one game that that game kept me going for like six, well, no, about the first like 8 months, I was just that's all I played until and then I went into something else, and then DLC came back, and I went back into it. So it was kind of one of those things like if I have a good game and I'm playing a game, I'm gonna play it, and I'm no slouch in my trophy list either. Like you can look at my trophy list, I don't hide it, and like you can see, I'm at a level 456, and I got some platinums.
Nice.
I don't really ever go, yeah, but and like the thing is, I play the games I really love, and like it was like when I was playing Destiny, I put so many hours into Destiny, and I got to a point where I was like, hey. I really like this game, but I really think I need to play something else because I kind of felt like it's worn its welcome, and I just need to try something else, Or once, and I kind of go. Me and my wife were talking about it, and I said, "Hey, you know, um," she said to me, she said, I know you really like a game," and I said, "How do you know?" And she said, "If you got over 50 hours in that game, you really liked it." She said because she said if you don't have over 50 hours, you're kind of like that. That game will just sit there and you may go back to it, but she said it'll sit there. And I was looking at we were looking at the hours out at PlayStation. You can do hours, and we were looking at like some
Yeah.
of the games I've played. Like like I'm a huge Fallout fan. I put like 150 hours in that game, and I played the hell out of Fallout 4. And then redid it, and there was a PS5 version. I was like, oh my
Yep.
God, why'd you guys do that? Because I'm gonna jump back into it. I know me, you know. Same thing with like Skyrim. I was like, oh God, why did you guys do this? And I jumped right back into it, and my wife's like, didn't you beat this? And I was like, you know what? You're right. Let me take a break and go play something new. And it's kind of one of those things like I totally get where you're coming from because there have been times where my the core group of friends that I have that I play games with, most of us, most of my military brothers that I served with, so we kind of have a core group. And the one game we know every year we all play together is COD. Even if it's bad, we all play COD. But outside of that, they'll see me playing something like, I think I was playing like Stellar Blade, and they're all like, "What is that game?" Because they're really, really, really casual. Like they buy their Call of Duties, their Maddens, their 2Ks, but they don't play any games outside of that. Like they may buy God of War, they may buy Spider-Man. If they see me playing Stellar Blade, and they're like, "I keep seeing this game you're playing called Stellar Blade. What is that?" And then we jump into a party, and I share it, and they look at it, and they're like, "No, that game's not for me." And I'll sit there and I end up playing it by myself, and then I'll get one of the guys, maybe out of like the 20, that will try to give it a chance, and he'll like it, and then we'll have conversations. That I got like one guy I know, he's really into JRPGs, and we're the only two in the group that talk about JRPGs. All the rest of my friends, they're like, "What the hell is a JRPG?" Like I was playing Octopath Traveler, and one of my friends like, "Let me see what that game you're playing is." And I showed him. He's like, "Dude, that game looks horrible,"
Yeah.
but it's just not his thing. And
Sure.
I'm like, man, you just don't get it. He's like, no, I don't understand why you're playing this turn. Like, why? What is turn based? He doesn't even know the term turn based. He's like, why you got to take turns? I'm like, it's just how it is. But
That's
I
fine.
definitely get it.
Nobody
Oh, there
knows
go
the
my
term
dog's going
turn-based
crazy.
anymore, to be fair.
If they're younger,
Right, that's true.
you can direct them to Pokemon because that's normally baby's first JRPG.
So hang on. So I've been playing Final Fantasy VI. Okay, I've talked about that already. There is
Yep.
so much shit in that game that is just Pokemon. Like
Yeah.
the looking inside the trash cans, like
Yeah.
that's a
That's in 4
Pokemon
too.
thing. Like
Yeah.
I know that from Pokemon. I don't know
Oh.
that from Final Fantasy. I know
Oh,
that
I know it from Final Fantasy.
Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow. Like those were what taught me to look in a trash can because I wanted the next TM 37 or the next hyper potion or whatever. Like so I'm playing this and not only is it a great story, but the damn thing is giving me all these nostalgia vibes not from Final Fantasy franchises, but from Pokemon, which I probably spent equally as much time on during those years because I had a Game Boy Advanced. I'm sorry, Game Boy Color.
Nice.
I didn't have an Advanced. I had a Color.
You could have played 6 at that time too.
It's so good when
6 is really good.
you can see where people like took ideas and anyways.
Yes.
But no, so like bad actors and Hero and I've been kind of talking in the chat a little bit, and it, he's making some really good points that if you limit yourself to like one thing only, it can
Yeah.
easily become an addiction.
I think, just because while you mentioned that, it's like kind of down the same thought pattern. I think service games have sort of driven people to do that,
You're right.
where they become obsessed with service
Oh
games.
yes, I so agree with you. I so agree with you.
And then
So
their
agree.
like whole industry view is warped by that. But while we're on this, because I have a quick bone to pick with
Man,
PlayStation
so
people.
agree.
Okay, my quick credentials. I last year got like 1,600 hours. I have over 200 platinums. I have over 250 platinums. Sorry. What the fuck are all of you people doing with Saints Row? I've been playing the Saints Row. You stupid people talk about how bots don't play fucking games. Oh my god. There is 36% of people in trophies who have gotten past the 4th mission. That took me an hour.
Okay, so it's Saints Row though. Like
It's Saints Row.
It's not the greatest game I've ever played. No, but
Right.
it's the 4th mission and it took less than an hour. And you want to
Right,
talk
I
about
get what
bots
you're
not
saying.
playing games? Get fucked.
that right there is exactly how I felt Saturday when I jumped onto X and I was like, "What the fuck, people? Like y'all go do something." Like Go- So that has been one of the things that I do love, and I know I'm going to mention his name, and the whole chat's going to like railroad me for it. But like one of the things I do love from like Dreamcast guy from back in the day was like,
Hmm.
because I haven't watched a lot of his videos ever since he started becoming just ultra negative. But like back in the day, he used to really promote like healthy, active lifestyle of like going to the gym and going outside and touching
Right.
grass and like
Right.
all of that stuff. And that's where I picked up the dude touch grass. Like that's where I picked that up
Yeah.
was from him.
You have to.
And it's
Yeah.
so important. Like to actually, and I know that nobody's here for a therapy session, but guys, this is what gaming is sometimes. It is very much. How many people play games for escapism? How many people play games as
Yep.
their form of therapy? How many therapists
Yep.
now are starting to use video games to help with something called adult play therapy, where they could look at me and diagnose things about me based off of how I play video games? Like,
I
it's
agree.
it's no secret that I'm ADHD as a motherfather. That's why I don't complete a lot of games. I get three-fourths of the way through and I bounce off of it and I come back a year later and I beat it. Like
That would
that's,
kill me.
that's dude, I can't
Yeah.
help it.
I
Like
think that's just. I think that happens, and I think you're right. I completely think you're right. And it's not a judge of your character. Sometimes you just need to go outside and touch grass. I'm like, let me get out the house and like, I'm an avid gun owner, so I get out and I'll go to the range. I'll go shoot. I'll go do something outside of that. You need that because sometimes, even though I love gaming and just like we all do, sometimes you really need a change. You like, okay, let me take a break and like we were talking about earlier, like when Ghost of Yotai comes out, I know that's going to be like that game that I soak everything into,
Oh yeah.
and then once I play it, I'm going to be like, damn, what's the next big thing? And it'll probably be the Elden Ring game. But I think you said something, and I think you kind of touched on it. It's kind of good to have a kind of like a template for the year. Say, okay, these are 3 or 4 games I know I want to play, and
mhm.
that's healthy because you kind of know like this is what I kind of want, and this is the route I'm going, and you kind of made kind of a path for
Roadmap.
yourself where yeah, you made a roadmap a roadmap for yourself, and you kind of know this is where I'm going, and and you might have your onesies and twosies you pick up, but for the most part, I think that's a healthier way to think about it because you're not going to buy every single game, but you kind of know what you like and you kind of know what you want to play. Like I definitely know this year the games I want to play. There's like 5 that I definitely have to put hands on. I have to play, and I probably will beat. And there might not be everybody's like. I know Death Stranding to the beach is not everybody's choice of what they want to play, but I fell in love with the first one.
Oh,
I can't wait for the second one.
Y'all can
that's gonna be
have
so
So
good.
that. Y'all
yeah,
can have it.
I'm absolutely in love with that. I'm in love with that game. I can't wait. But I know there are going to be people out there that say, "Man, you see this game," and there's a lot of games I have on my wish list, and I may not get them this year. I may get them next year, or I may get them, a year and a half, 2 years from now. But the thing is, you got to have a healthy balance, and I think that a lot of people don't talk about that. Also, I'm happy you brought that up because
They don't because
you
it
need
makes
that.
you look like it makes you in the eyes of the online community it makes you look and sound like a fake gamer. Why is this dude hosting a channel or hosting a podcast or making videos about the industry or making videos about this when he doesn't spend 100, or I'm sorry, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 hours on video games? He's not actually in the industry. And so instead of
No,
bringing it up and being honest with people and going, yeah, you know what? Guess what?
I think if
Anyways,
you don't need to put in like the crazy hours like that, that's I think like a
right?
detractor for like the real thing. Like you can put in a ton of time. It's when you see the people who put in a ton of time, they're like, I've put 72 days into Starfield and it was running idle for 70 of them. It's like, why? Like,
so
what's the point?
no lie, I
Like,
was
you're just running up your time to make it seem like you're important.
I was playing earlier and I knew I had stuff to do. Like I'd been out of work for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is today, because of just weather. It's been just a big bowl of soup down here in Arkansas. That's all we have. It's just soup everywhere outside. It's just muddy and wet. And so down here, it's pretty hard to work on AC systems outside when it's soaking wet and mud everywhere. And so we called it out for rain. And so I was sitting here today playing some Final Fantasy. I was playing it on my portal, and I set the portal down, And like 20 minutes go by. I get up, I start doing some stuff, get distracted, go back out, and all of a sudden my PlayStation's like, hey, in 8 minutes we're gonna shut this thing down. And I was like, oh shit. So like I have probably a good 45 minutes of time into Final Fantasy that is not actually
Sure.
I'm not doing
I think
shit.
that's different though to having like days upon days of just idle time. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. That's
Like, it's just to run up your thing to make it seem like you played the game more than you did.
And that's annoying. I'd rather just come on. So one of our guests that we have on, he'll be on next week, is Falky. And
Yeah.
when he came on and was like, he actually budgets his time out
Yeah.
for his video games because he has about 500 hours a year budgeted for video game time. And so like, and he loves RPGs and JRPGs.
That's cool.
And
That's
so,
cool.
like,
He's a
like,
busy man.
yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to be super choosy on what
Yep.
I do, and so he's like Expedition 33. He's excited about it, but he's gonna wait for a second to see how it lands and what happens. Because he's like, that game could take me 60,
Like that.
70, 80 hours.
I like that thought process.
Dude,
The wish list is also a cool way for that as well, is because your wish
Yes.
list can send you notifications when games are on sale.
Yep, that's what I love. I love
Yeah.
the wish list.
Yep.
Love it.
Probably the best feature they've had in a while.
So Bale Dante just asked a good question. And guys, we had other topics tonight. I was ready to go to town on Bobby Kotick and Game Pass, but fuck it. This is where we're at. Bell Dante said, "Do you have to be?" And I'll just address this to the panel. Do you have to be in a certain type of mindset to play a specific genre? I have
Yes.
noticed that. Yes. So
Absolutely.
here's the
Absolutely.
deal. If I don't know what to play, I play College Football 25. Because it's a game I can hop into, complete a game, 30, 45 minutes, and then usually by the end of it, or even sometimes halfway through the game, at halftime, I'll shut it off and I'll be like, oh, damn, I want to go back and play game X. Or,
Yeah, I'm the same way.
yeah, those, I have, Stellar Blade actually took
If I
me a
don't
little
know-
bit to beat because of that.
Yeah, if I don't know what to play, my go-to is either gonna be always probably like the number one go-to is always COD. I was getting a random lobby, just running around killing people,
Gross.
and then like I'm gonna tell you why, because Call of Duty to me is just a mindless game at this point. So I can mindlessly run around and just kind of like talk to my wife, play here, and then by the time I've played one or two games, and I'm like, why am I playing this? I'm like, oh, this is another game. And like the other day, since I've been playing Octopath Traveler, like that's all I've been wanting to play. But if it's a moment where I'm sitting down and I'm trying to give my attention like to my wife or something, or my children are older, but say if for instance one of them call me, it's kind of one of those games like COD is one of those games where I don't even care if I get killed. I don't care if the lobby shifts. I'm just like whatever. But it's kind of like one of those mindless games that I can always say I'm not really in the mood to play anything definitively now. Like before Octopath Traveler, I didn't have a definitive game I was going to play because I had just came off of beating Stellar Blade. So I was like, okay, I want more Stellar Blade, but I got to find something else. Octopath Traveler went on sale. I said, I'm buying it. Started playing it. I was like, this is all I want to play. So it's kind of, I do agree. You got to kind of be in a mood to have certain games you play, but you're always going to have that one game you're like, this will stay in the background when I just want to mindlessly do something. And I don't know exactly what I want to do until I figure it out. And I think everybody kind of has that one game where they're like, let me just mindlessly play this. And then you'll sit there and you'll be like, wait a minute. You know what? I started playing this and I really liked it. Let me finish playing it. So that's
So-
kind of how it works for me. I agree with that.
One of the cool
If you're
things-
really lucky to have a service game as your mindless sort of anytime game, that's like the best thing you can have happened. Because I play
I
Final
agree.
Fantasy 14 that way. It's like, if I have nothing to do, it's Final Fantasy 14. And that's like, I hang out with friends and just do whatever. There's always something to do in those games. That's what's the best thing about service games. Don't make them your life. Make them the
Right.
like basis of everything else you do. Like, so if you have nothing else to do, you're playing a service game because they're always changing.
I totally agree.
It's always
I like that
fresh and
mentality.
updating. And
Whereas, like, for playing other games, like, yes, I get in the mentality. Like, I played recently Rise of the Ronin and got the platinum in that, and that was because I was watching Rurouni Kenshin, And I was like, I really want to play a Ronin game. And I was like, do I replay Ghost of Tsushima? Or I was like, Rise of the Ronin's on special. So picked up that on sale.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
and I like banged it out, and I was like, cool. I did the same thing with The Witcher. I watched The Witcher show, and I was like, I really want to play The Witcher. So I bought The Witcher for like $1, like a week later. And then what's the other one? Twisted Metal. When the Twisted Metal show came out, I watched Twisted Metal, and I was like, I really want to go play Twisted Metal. And yeah, what I'm watching, I'm like, this seems really cool. I'm going to go check that out for whatever. Like, I've been watching The Penguin as well.
So
I'm
now
like,
you're gonna
cool.
go play Arkham Knights.
Maybe I'll play a Batman show, a Batman game or something.
Yeah, like
I love the Penguin.
but that's a freaking real question from Bell Dante, because like even today when I told y'all I put my portal down, it's like I went and did a chore. Like I had laundry that I had to fold. So I had Final Fantasy VI music playing
Nice.
while I was folding laundry, and two things. One, the overworld music is super peaceful and chill, and like really good background music. Second, like it kind of just lulled me into like I'm just gonna sit and chill and just let this shit play on repeat while I'm folding laundry because I've been off all day, and Lord help me if I don't get any housework done, my wife's gonna shoot me. Like that was what was going through my head. Anybody who's married knows what that's like. Like if you get off and your wife is at work, like and you didn't do anything,
you better do something.
Like so today I did the dishes, I folded a load of laundry, started another one. We use cloth shower curtains, so I washed those today.
Oh, you sound like me. Yep, you gotta wash those. Yep.
And then I made dinner. We had meatloaf, homemade mashed potatoes, and green beans. Like because I was home all freaking day. Like and I put 4 hours into 5 hours into Final Fantasy because I was home all day. Like but the mentality that I have for like what got me into Final Fantasy right now was because I had been playing Metaphor. I got 90 hours into Metaphor, hit a dungeon that really pissed me off, and haven't gone back to it since.
I'm trying my best not to get there because I'm itching to play it. I'm itching so bad to play it.
Well, it's
There's two games I have
it's
not.
fantastic.
There's two games I have not. There's two games I've been itching to touch, and I have not touched them. And that's the Persona series and Metaphor. Everybody says if you touch them, you can't put them down.
No,
I'm like, I don't want to do it to myself.
No. Play Persona. You got to play Persona.
No. Play
Everybody
Metaphor first.
So play Metaphor first, then go to Persona, because those are the two franchises I want to dive into. So every time I see them on sale, I'm like, I just want to buy them all and
Persona
just go through and play them. But everybody tells me if you start playing Persona, like you just can't put it down. Like it's so good.
It is.
And I'm like,
Persona
oh
is
man,
phenomenal. I have Persona 4 on my thing at all times. Persona 4 is so good.
So
my middle son, he got Persona 5, and he put 80 hours in the game, and he said he really didn't even do everything. And I was like, oh my god. He was like, there's just so much to do in that game.
But it's
I've
fun.
put Persona 5 3 times.
I just
and I've put in like 400 hours into it.
I messed myself over in Metaphor. That's what happened in Metaphor. Is I was following a platinum guide, and because I wanted to get the platinum. But the problem is instead of leveling up my characters like I should have been doing, I was just hitting objectives and hitting objectives and hitting objectives. And so now I'm on the timeline, I'm doing it, because there's everything in this game is based off of like time. You have a calendar, you got to follow the calendar, and there's a little bit of wiggle room. If you do everything, you get about 3 weeks off, quote unquote, at the end.
Yeah.
But
it's sort of like that. You get about 2 to 3 weeks at the end of all of them if you've done it correctly.
If you did it correctly, you get that much, and that's fine. I have all my stuff almost leveled up. I have all my relationships almost at level like 7 or 8. Like I'm getting close to the end. I can tell by where all of my progression is and all of that. But I went into this one dungeon that I literally have to complete before I can do anything. And
will I platinum it before you?
You probably will.
I haven't started it yet.
I screwed up so bad Also, the mechanics of the game and the layout of the game took me forever to finally understand what I was doing. And so, like,
Oh.
I spent 30 hours in the first section of the game where I probably didn't need to. Because
Of course.
Is it a difficult game, or is it just like
no,
it's just
if you're a
different?
Final Fantasy shill, then it's
Mhm.
going to be a bit of a shock when you get into it.
Oh, okay.
And
Because I've heard Persona is very different than Final Fantasy in a lot of
100%.
Yeah,
ways.
in Persona,
Yeah, a lot
like,
of people.
if you figure out an enemy weakness, you hit it, you get a second turn. So you can like double
Yes.
up your attacks really easily.
Oh,
So you can like power through things when you know their weaknesses.
hmm
interesting.
The problem comes in is when you've been doing that and then you hit a dungeon,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I haven't leveled up my archetypes enough. And so because of that, I don't actually have the skills needed to actually defeat the monsters in this thing. Okay, well now I'm out
Oh,
of MP,
snap.
I'm out of items, I'm out of all of this, and I can't do anything. So you can always go back to the beginning, but once you leave, like, so you can go back to the entrance, heal up, do all of that, fine. But once you leave the
Right.
entrance screen, you
Mhm.
lose a day.
Time moves.
Yeah, time moves on.
Oh,
And
so
so,
it's,
like,
it's oh wow,
so
Yeah,
that's
if you
different.
go, yeah, you can do so. Like you have, if it's like Persona, I haven't played Metaphor yet. Persona, there's 3 times of day, and one is always taken up in Persona by school. So you will have
Oh.
2,
Uh-huh.
and then like one's the afternoon and one's the evening, and
Yep.
you can do stuff in the afternoon with everyone or most people. On some days, it's not
Okay.
everyone, and then evening will have different people you can do stuff with. So,
Also, it depends
but
on where
if you
you are.
use
Like,
yeah, if you go into like a dungeon in Persona, you can't use an evening because it takes up 2.
Oh wow.
yes, it takes up day and night because you have to rest after the dungeon.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, so
I
let
can.
me ask this question real quick. Let me ask this question real quick because you're talking about Persona. Because I've always want to know this because
Yeah.
I keep seeing in the PlayStation Store there's 5, 4, and I think 3.
Yes.
I'm like, do I need to play them to know
No.
that
No.
each
They're,
one?
they're like Final
Are they
Fantasy. They're all
different?
separate. They're all separate.
Oh,
If
okay,
it's
so I
like-
can start on 5 and go back.
Yeah. The difference
Okay.
is like if you're playing the spin-offs, they're like tied into each other. So all the 5 spin-offs were tied to 5, but they
Okay,
take
got
place
it.
like Royal isn't part of 5 for some of the spin-offs, but it is for some other ones. It's a bit
Wow.
confusing because Royal is like the like Persona 5 Royal, which is the main one now, is actually like with DLC. They added in a whole new season to the game. So
Oh,
they
wow.
added in a second story and new characters.
Oh, I didn't know
So,
about all new characters.
The spin-offs that come before Royal act like the end of the game happened, and these other characters aren't in it because they weren't created yet, because Royal wasn't out. So, like, if you play Strikers, there's not Kasumi or, like, the end of the story for Royal.
Yeah, see,
If that
that's the
makes
only
sense.
Persona
Yeah.
game I have is Strikers.
Yeah, because it was
I've
on
yet to
Plus.
really- Right, and
The-
I've yet to sit down and play because
Yeah.
everybody says like once you start, you're not
Darn,
going.
yeah.
And I'm looking at Persona 5 Royale,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, do I need to? Which one should I buy? The
Yes.
5 or the Royale? So I'm like, which one do
Well-
I need to buy?
If for Royal it's all streamlined a lot better. Like they've done a lot
Okay.
of quality of life stuff. Like you can 2 platinum, 5 proper. You have to complete the compendium, which is collect every monster. You don't have to do that in
Okay.
Royal to platinum it. They streamlined a lot of it. Like
Oh,
they just
okay.
tweaked how things work, and they made it just seem it's a lot like to beat the game on normal vanilla 5 that came out in 2017 or whatever it was. It takes about
Right.
100 hours. To beat Royal,
Okay.
you can do it in about 60.
Okay, so that's
Like-
a big difference.
Yeah, they streamlined a lot of it. Plus, they added more stuff, so that's also it's a longer game. But
So
you
if I
also
go
can
to
fit it in faster.
buy Persona 5, I can buy Persona 5 Royale and just get that one, and I'm good.
Yeah. Well, Royal Persona 5 Vanilla is not on PS5. That's a PS4 and PS3 game.
I think okay, maybe that's a PS4 game. Okay, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
there's one of my.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Royal is
Royal
the
is also
PS5.
on 4.
It's
yeah, Royal
always
is-
on sale.
Yeah, Royal is also on PS4, but you can buy it on PS5.
I
Okay.
was actually
Like-
I keep
impressed
seeing
with
one, I'm like-
Atlas.
Yeah. The 3 and 4 always get bundled together. There's a bundle of like the old PSP/Vita games. That's 3 and 4 together.
Oh, that's what those are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can buy 3 Reload, which is the newest one that came out last year, and that's a remake of 3. like a
Okay,
proper
I see
remake.
that one. I see
Yeah,
Reload, Golden,
yeah,
Royale, and then like Four
yeah.
Arena. Because I always get confused, like, which one do I need to
Well,
get to start the
yeah,
series?
yeah. You can get into any of the numbered ones easily. It's the spin-offs that you want to avoid because they all take place after the game. Like they're all
Okay,
like
so just
after
do the
you
number,
finish
just
stuff.
do the numbers.
Yeah,
So like, just
like
do 4, 5, and 3, and that's
yeah,
it. Start with
yeah.
those. Okay,
But like
got it.
3 Reload is a remake, so like that you could do over normal 3 anytime.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
and like
makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah, like 4 is my favorite, but that's the first one I played. So like
You talking about Golden, right?
yeah, 4 Golden. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the Vita
Okay, that's
version.
one I keep seeing. That one,
Yeah,
and then Royale. I keep seeing those on
yep.
sale all the time at
They're
PlayStation Store.
they're depending on who you talk to, they're arguably the best one.
So
Okay, that's what I've heard. I've heard
Yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah.
so
Like
this
because 4
whole
is a PS2 game and it's amazing.
so this whole conversation that rabbit trailed into this, which I love it. Like I love talking video games. It's really fun. Um, but this whole thing was based off of the PlayStation
Question
Network
from
being
Bel
down,
Dante.
right? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the like even before that, like this is from the overreaction that happened from the community, from clout chasers, from people who were just wanting to gripe and complain and moan and bitch and all that. That's probably why my following on X is not that big at all, because I don't gripe enough. Like that's
Don't
probably
gripe.
the
Don't
problem.
waste your energy.
Like that's
Don't
Who
waste your energy.
cares?
Yeah, don't even do it.
I don't gripe and complain enough, and so because of that, it's why this channel is slow rolling. It's why we move at a very consistent pace on the channel, and we don't get out of that pace
Hmm.
because like I've said it from the very freaking beginning. I don't want a community of absolute fake try hard people who think
Right.
that gaming is life. Like I want a community of real folks who game and deal with this stuff and we can come together and we can talk about it, we can have these discussions.
Right.
And when you get that narrow-minded where PlayStation So, here's the other thing. Did PlayStation hack their own fucking network? No, they didn't. Somebody else
No, they
did that.
didn't.
That is a criminal
Somebody
that
else
did
did that,
that.
right?
That
I
that's
think something did happen though. I don't think it was hacked. I think an error occurred and something happened because there was stuff leaking from the store like right before it happened.
so you think
Interesting.
that like somebody
Like
hit
the
the
Metal
wrong
Gear
button?
Solid trailer, the end of the Metal Gear Solid trailer from today got leaked early.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah, you're
news,
right. Actually, a couple of things did get leaked.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
new
right.
screenshots of Ghosts of Yotei happened as well. Like some things leaked, so something happened at the store. Where maybe someone went rogue and did something, uploaded something, and they were sorting all of them out and figuring out what they fucked up. But I don't know about that. That's just a theory. But like something happened, and then they were like, "Oh, it's down," so they were fixing it.
Right. And people saying they're gonna leave, and they're
No,
not.
they're
Let me
not.
tell you, with 70 plus million people who own PlayStation 5s, you're invested. You're not gonna leave. A lot of those people came over from PS4. You have your library, your digital. A lot of people are digital. Like, there's a huge percentage of people who are digital. They're not leaving that library behind, That's not gonna happen. Unlike, a certain other company, you're not going to leave your library behind because this is going to be back up. This is a formality.
Pretty soon the other
This is
company
not
won't
like
have to leave their library behind anymore.
they won't. Yeah, they'll all be on
It's all going to be
PlayStation
over
because I
here.
know I'm definitely buying Forza Horizon on PlayStation because I like that series. But it's just one of those things. Like I think you were saying you were out all day. I was on a flight back, and I had just flown back in, and I had when I got back home, I remember a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, is your PlayStation Network up?" I was like, "Yeah, mine's working fine." He's like, "Dude, it's been down all day," but I didn't get back until like 1 in the morning. You know, so like 1 in the morning, I'm walking the house. I just came back from LA. I just flown back in. So by the time I got back in, I didn't experience any outage. So my buddy's like, "Yeah, mine's been down all day." But I was like, "Oh, okay, what happened?" He was like, "I don't know. It was down and couldn't play anything." But there again, like I profile share with my wife because me and my wife play together. Her Spider-Man PS5 is my main profile, and then my PlayStation 5 Pro in the living room is mine. And if my system is, obviously if I can't play online, I just go on her system because we have some of the similar games we play, and I'll just play what I want. So I definitely get that, but it being down for that amount of time. I wouldn't really start fear mongering and unless it's been like 3 or 4 days. Then you got to start worrying and say, okay,
Yeah,
something bigger happened.
Well,
because
and then people are upset by the
that's not a big
compensation
deal.
they gave. Like,
5 days of PS Plus is more than enough, in my opinion.
That's more than enough. That's more than enough. You were down for what, 12, maybe 24 hours. That's more than enough. 5 days. That's
right?
plenty.
You got
That's
5 days. You got 5 times the amount that you missed.
Yeah, they could have given us nothing, and I would have been happy. I wouldn't have cared.
Exactly.
Like, it was 20 hours. It was nothing. It's not.
Yeah, it was a nothing burger.
The Monster Hunter beta was going on, and they extended the beta an extra day next weekend. Like, that's on Capcom. Like, they figured that out. Like,
now,
and so they should.
Hey, do you think Capcom came to PlayStation and was like, "Hey, listen, y'all f this up. We need to extend the beta next time"?
No.
No.
Oh no, they
Okay.
did. I think they did it. I think they did it on goodwill because that's a big franchise.
Yeah.
So they knew that people were really, really invested and wanted to see. So they were like, okay,
What's
we
the
got
beta
this.
for?
We'll go ahead and extend it.
It's for me.
What
the
beta's
beta's
for?
for me. The beta is for me.
No. I mean, like, what do people use betas for?
To see.
It's a
They're
network
trying to
test.
test out network testing. That's exactly
Yes.
what it is. Yeah.
So, like, they want as many people on as they can. Like, it makes sense for them to schedule it so they can test it properly.
Right.
It's all connected. Okay, so hang on. Hero is taking us down this rabbit trail. So let's.
I've seen bits of it. Yes.
He said they took down the 30th anniversary themes, and a
Yes.
day later the PS Store had issues. It's not a hack, but
Yes.
it's like a technical issue. If it was a hack,
Yes.
they legally had to disclose it. Remember, some
Correct.
UX/UI people got fired after the integration of SN systems. It's all connected. Something happened, but it's not a hack. Damn.
I agree.
Okay.
No, I think he's onto something, but I do think it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal either. I think it's a nothing burger.
And that was the thing for me. Like, if
Also, you mentioned did Capcom come in and say something. I reckon if Capcom went in and spoke to Sony like that, Sony would smack them across the face and tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Capcom don't get to talk to Sony like that.
well, then do you
No.
think it could have been the other way? Like Sony was like, "Hey guys, something fucked up. We
No.
need y'all to extend the beta next week."
No.
No?
I think
No,
that
I think
Capcom were
Capcom
like,
did
we
it out
need
of
to
goodwill.
test our system. Yeah. Capcom want to test their system before it... Because if it goes online and breaks day one, that's a problem for them.
Well, and hell, somebody like me.
Capcom knew the deal. Capcom knew the deal. They were like, look, we need to make sure this is right before we get it to it. Yeah, they knew the deal.
Especially if... Because I don't know where it originated from for, like, the outage, because you guys in the US were affected and we weren't for some time. Because, like, I was able to get on and use the beta while it was down for everyone else.
Oh,
So some parts of it were working. Like, mine did eventually go down, but, like, you guys were talking about how it was down for, like, hours upon hours, and I was like, mine's fine. So it was down for some people and not for everyone.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
And, like, I was able to get on and play the beta, like, while it was down, in quotes.
I have a very American mentality that if it's happening
Sure.
to me, it's obviously happening everywhere else.
Sure. No, I get that. But then, like, that's why I'm like, did it happen to you guys and did it happen to Japan? Because they're the two big parts for Monster Hunter. Because the most gamers for PlayStation are currently in the US, and the biggest place for Monster Hunter is Japan.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. But guys, it's stop being a bad actor. That's all I'm gonna say. Like if you're a gamer, just be a fucking gamer. It's okay. You can be a gamer of all types. Maybe you only play Black Ops. Guess what? I'm gonna look at you side-eyed, but that's fine. Like that's totally fine. I'm gonna bust your chops, but that's totally fine. You do you. You're missing out on a lot, but that's fine. If you're a sports person, guess what? Play your sports games. If all you want to do... So there's a guy in our chat who usually shows up to the show. He's been a guest on the show. Nelson Gaming Culture. That dude plays all retro damn near all the time. He loves all of these 16-bit, 32-bit type games that are coming out. He played Rita's Revenge, or Rita's Rewind that came out recently. He played the Scott Pilgrim skin over Double Dragon. He
that
played
Scott
that
Pilgrim game is really good.
Like those are good games. I can respect that.
Well, no, that's fine. But like he just plays those a ton. I actually get some good recommendations from him. But like that's cool. If that's your thing, cool. Let that be your thing, and don't let any other freaking person tell you that if you don't like Helldivers 2, you're not really a gamer. If you don't like, if you can't play Stellar Blade, or if you don't like Elden Ring, or pick a fucking game. If you're letting other people influence your gaming that much that I would tell you to unplug from everything and just focus. Hell, take yourself offline to where like you can't even see your friends list on PlayStation if other people's
Mm-hmm.
opinions bother you or influence you that much. Turn them off because you
I
are
agree.
robbing yourself of so much more than just these games or just these experiences. Like, anyways, that's what I want to leave y'all with because a lot of people say a lot of shit. Okay? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people say, well, if you don't show your end of the year thing, then you probably didn't game it. That's no. Like,
I do think it is weird. I'll point out that I do think it is weird that there are people who like to talk up how much they game and then not show their stuff.
well, that's true.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird.
Like if you
That is weird.
if you game so much, like I don't think that would be a problem.
right.
Or they hide their trophy list or achievement
Yeah.
list. That's weird.
Shit.
Because I
Yeah.
keep mine just there and you can see
Yeah.
it. And I'm like,
Same.
hey, it's there for the world to see. I'm not scared to show it. Like,
You can
if
see
you're gonna
I
see what
only
I
got
like
3
and I don't
platinums.
like,
I don't care.
yeah, you're gonna see what I
Yeah.
like and don't like, and you may be able to make recommendations to something I may like. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't know I would like this. But yeah, I do find that kind of weird. People who are like, hey, I do this and that. There's some influencers, and I just kind of look at those people. You're just an
I
influencer,
I can understand there are some media people who cannot show their
right?
Sure.
trophy lists and that before whatever reason, for NDA reasons. I understand that. Like, I'm semi lenient on that. But like the people who are like, oh, I put 700 hours into fucking, I don't know, whatever, Call of Duty, but
Well-
then you ask them to show you and they won't show you.
What's crazy is
Yeah, that's
I
weird.
was one of the ones who played the Suicide Squad, Kill
Yeah,
Justice
same.
League.
And you weren't allowed to do certain stuff,
You
yeah.
weren't allowed to like. It was like it gave you like a list of stuff that you had to do. Like you had to make sure your profile was showing away so people couldn't see what you
Yeah.
were playing. You had to. You couldn't talk about certain things. You couldn't mention whether you liked it or disliked it or like.
Now that game is done, I like that game. Unpopular opinion. I have
Is
the
it not as complete?
I have the platinum in Suicide Squad. I like that game.
Oh wow, yeah. Me and my wife just started playing it just to see what it was about. And
Yeah.
we had fun with it. Yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah,
Really?
Is it the greatest game in the world? No,
Mhm.
it's
No, it's not the
fun
greatest game, but we have a good time. And it's introducing her into the world of like that whole because
Yeah.
her DC thing is like she's really not knowledgeable. Everything with her is like Marvel, so she knows the Marvel world. So for DC, outside of maybe Batman, she doesn't really know. So like her to seeing this playing this game, she's understanding it because she's like, I know Spider Man, I know Iron Man. And she knows like the Avengers, but she doesn't know anything about DC. And she knows I'm a huge Batman fan. That's like my thing.
oh yeah.
So she's trying to learn more about it. And she's like, okay, I can see why you like Batman. He's pretty badass, When we got to the part in the museum where Batman's, kicking everybody's ass.
That part is so
She's
cool.
like,
But like,
yeah,
there's
she's like,
so
I can see why you
much
like Batman.
that-
Right.
There's so much that we as just a people give other
Mhm.
folks authority to tell us what we should or shouldn't like or how we should or shouldn't do something. Like
I don't know
that's
what people do that.
So like I used to be a part of the bourbon TikTok community because I love bourbon. But I got to a point where I stopped drinking it altogether because everybody in that community was like, this has to be done this way and this has to be done this way, and if you have
No, it doesn't.
if you have an $80 bottle of bourbon, you better not put it over ice because you're not respecting. Man, fuck off. Like, I've paid for that $80 bottle of bourbon. If
Exactly. I can do
put-
what I want with it.
If I want to dump the dang thing down the sink, that is my choice.
Exactly.
And if I want to
Yeah.
sit there and play a game 3/4 of the way through and stop playing it and go over to something else, guess what? I paid for that game. I am not.
That
your
hurts my
normal bot.
mind.
I know it does. I know. And I'm trying to get better because I don't. Fun fact. I actually don't like the fact that I can't stick with a game for completion on first playthrough. Like it actually is a bit annoying because
I'll play a game till I finish it. Like I was playing
yeah.
GTA San Andreas for so fucking long last year just for the platinum. And it's like, I've got to finish this stupid game before I can move on.
I don't have that problem. I will drop a game like a bad habit. Now,
No.
when I play a game and it initially like doesn't resonate with me, I will still keep it on the PlayStation, right? Like it will still be
Oh,
in the rotation because I will try to go back to it 3 or 4 more times before I just say screw it. Hell, with The Witcher
do,
3, I literally had to go back to that game 4 times. I failed to launch 3 times.
do you know the joy of platinuming a game and deleting a game immediately? Like, that might be
Um,
on par with beating a boss you've been fighting in Dark Souls
You
for like
know,
30
I
hours.
I can kind of agree with that one. Like
You
there have been
platinum a game
games
and
where
you delete it, and you're like, oh my
I mean
god.
there've been games that I'm like it just didn't resonate with me, and it took me 2 or 3 times to go back, and maybe the third or fourth time even. I'm like, oh, it just clicked with me, and then I play through the game, and then when I'm done with it, I'm like, damn, that actually was a good fit. Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
yeah,
I
so
definitely know that
I've
feeling.
platinumed 3 games. I've platinumed
Hmm.
Spider-Man 2, God of War
Hmm.
Ragnarok, and Astrobot.
Okay.
And
Did you do
Yeah.
after
play? Did you do
what?
Astro's Playroom? That's the easy one.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
my kids played Astro's Playroom way more than I did. They
Mm.
absolutely, my oldest son, back when he was 7, he absolutely beat the dog shit out of that game. Like,
My daughter has a platinum in that game.
he,
That sounds about right.
he didn't get the platinum. I think we're like 2 trophies away. I should just reboot it back in
Yeah,
and just go get those last 2 trophies because, like,
they're not
that's
hard.
the other thing. Like, there's a couple
No.
games like Outriders. There was a glitch, so I can't get the platinum, or I would have had it in
No.
Outriders. Uh,
Uh,
but
Remember me on PS3, I've glitched, so I can't get the
like
platinum as
it,
well.
it literally will not. I'm at
Yeah,
98%, and I cannot get the last trophy. Um,
that
I
sucks.
I have everything. My levels are all there. Heck, I've beat the gauntlet so many freaking times it's unreal. But it just
That's
will not give
that's
it to me.
Remnant from the Ashes. I had one trophy to get the platinum, and it glitched out, and I can't get it. And I freaking was like, man, I love this game because it was a Souls game that was
Hmm.
different with guns, and
Yeah,
I was like, this game is so cool. Glitched out. I had that one trophy, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get this platinum. Couldn't get it because it was glitched out. I even wrote to the developers, and they were like, yeah, we know there's a problem with the trophy. And I was like, geez, man, like. I was like, whatever. At that point, I was like, whatever. I was like, I put enough time in this game. I feel cool about like leaving it alone.
All
no,
right.
I'd go
That's what I
back.
did. I just
So
I'd go
is
platinum it. I'd start again.
okay. So as Hero just pointed out, we have after my exit speech, and then we started another 20-minute conversation. Uh,
Yep.
everybody else has gone to bed except you, me, and Hero. So and Frog's over there. So we're gonna go ahead
Oh,
and end this tonight. Um,
all right.
Thank y'all for showing up. I do have the links. I know Frog, you don't care. I know Josh, you don't care. But I have y'all's links in
Yeah, you can
well,
throw them
the
in there.
description for X
you can
for both
follow
of
me
these
if you
guys.
like. I'm not on Twitter. We've already been through this. Find me on Discord. It's easier.
It is easier. And I guarantee you, at least for us American folks, he will be on Discord before like 7 a.m. and then he'll be on Discord at about 2 p.m. And like they're sleeping. All of my Aussie friends are sleeping between those other hours. Well, except for JP. I don't think
Oh,
JP.
he gets up at ridiculous times. I don't know what the hell he
I
does.
don't think he
He's
sleeps
always awake.
really. But yeah, join the Discord. Leave a comment on the video if you are still here. Holy heck! Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Yeah, I
After
appreciate it. Definitely
because
appreciate it.
literally I've closed the show out twice now. This is the third one. So like I really appreciate y'all staying, especially through just the rantings and ramblings of 3 gamers who are just in our like 30s and 40s, and we've been doing this for a while and we have
Yep.
stories. Like we have shit.
Thanks for
So
700 subs.
yes, yes, yes. Thank y'all so much. Easy E, you were the lone gifter tonight. My dude, I appreciate it. As always, though, guys, y'all have a lovely night. Thanks the panel. Holy shit, y'all were amazing. thank y'all so much. Typically, I let y'all do an intro, but it's late. We are out of here.
Yeah. I just appreciate the invite.
Yeah,
Bye.
man. Y'all have a good night and stay